Oh,
My
shoot.
new boom. My new spiel is that I need to get a video, and I say that every time I start because I don't have a video to get started. I got footage. I got to throw something together. I'm like, you can just get screen capture software.
Yeah.
I have some. I have like OBS Studio. You can just go on YouTube, full screen it, and capture a clip and throw it up there. Like you could throw up
Yeah, man.
whatever
I'm I'm working on
American
my
Psycho.
intro right now, and it's awesome. I
Nice.
love it.
Yeah. See, it's fun. Like, what do you got? What are your go tos? Do you got any clips that are
Haunted
like
castles, a bunch of haunted castles, like different haunted castles, all in a row.
nice? Are you kind of sticking with you do have a little kind of shtick identity thing going, and I mean it's like a legit or whatever, but it's kind of goth. You're like CG's
Yeah,
goth
I
punk
guess so.
guy.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah,
If I'm not, I'm doing it wrong or something. Yeah,
I
and you
know.
wear my shirts, you look like you're in a goth gang, which is cool.
Yeah, I think that's actually yeah, that's kind of genius because you're the only one that I think that does that so strongly. Like you could say I have a brand and it's like not showering except for in the river, and it's just but mine's like dumb. Yours is cool.
Shut up! Shut up! I like Narwhal brand. It reminds us to relax and just have fun making comics. It's a good
Yeah, yeah.
brand.
Speaking of which, that just people are going to filter in as we go. Right now, it's telling me
Cool.
there's only two people watching. I see Dale A.
That's me.
Dude, I bet you there's more than two. We average like 25 and or more even. So we'll see. And you and me, I bet you'll this could bring hopefully a little audience. I'm actually going to tweet it out to make sure people know. So give me 1 second while I do that.
Yeah, I'll help on that front where I can. But yeah, man, I've been doing my intro. It's awesome. It's gonna be great. Start doing some live streams. Have a good time.
Nice. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, because your
Have some
Twitter is
fun.
pretty on point too. Are you almost 8,000 now or is it more even?
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
yeah.
it's close there.
Yeah, I think I'm like around 5,000, something like that, which even I remember actually, so this is something we can chat about a little bit is we go way back, but it was like pretty much pre-CG. It was like in the bubbling formation that the DNA where the creatures crawled out of the muck. That was like us, like early CG. It
Yes,
wasn't even
raw CG.
yeah,
Yeah,
like that was like it was Captain Cummings was like this is like almost pre your boy Zach like and then your boy Zach
pre
kind of
Cummings. Sorry, I
yeah
just had to
yeah
say pre cum.
yeah yeah we're like no
Pre Cummings.
we weren't quite pre Cummings we were a little bit about
Sorry,
contemporary with Cummings but
contempt coming. Yeah,
yeah some contempt Cummings but
nice.
yeah I don't know what so oh yeah so
What a
we get
day.
on
What a
Twitter and it'd be
yeah.
like you get like 50 subscribers and I remember like the feeling of getting 300, 500. Maybe in the first year I might have got up to 500 and how that felt. I was like, damn, it's like
It's like
hard to get
puberty.
subscribers. 500 feels like a lot. Cut to a few
Yeah.
years later, it's like, ooh, 8,000. Nice. Getting up there.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute. And since Elon took over, I've been getting a lot more subs, like naturally, the way I should have been all along on old school Twitter. But old school Twitter, I would get like 4 subs and then like -2, -5 subs. Like it was
Yeah.
this constant, like, horrifying climb straight upward where I would always gain and lose. Even if my tweets would go like super over the top viral, I would barely gain subs. It was crazy. Now it's like you can tell the likes, the retweets, everything's bigger and people following me more. So it's definitely a different platform. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. I remember too a kind of cool thing about Twitter and that it does kind of work and do what it's supposed to do almost is it was when the Cerberus campaign was closing. I had set the goal pretty high. I set the goal at 30,000 because that was kind of my break even. And so I was like, I
Yeah.
want to. That's like the business plan being, because sometimes you put the goal at 500 and you just go way over or whatever. But that so 30,000. But I didn't know you have to hit that or you can't go in demand. And I was at 25,000 or maybe even a little less, like 24,000 or something. And it was the last day. And I tweeted out, I was like, I just found out that it has to hit 30,000 or I can't go in demand. Like I could really, I don't know, it's the last day. Can we even do this? It got like 100 retweets and it gained 6,000 in 1 day without going on a live stream. So that's
Oh,
all
that's
just,
amazing.
yeah, that's all
Yeah.
Twitter and the community. I might have gone on like late at night and got a
The
little
fans
boost, but I
rule.
think it passed 30,000 just from Twitter, just from people retweeting and getting on board and stuff like that. So it was like fun. I do appreciate what we got going on here with the CG and everything.
Oh, hell yeah, Narwhal. And you've worked hard over the years to build what you've got, and that's a testament to it,
Yeah, I'm at least like a little bit tested,
bit.
and people can kind of trust even just fulfillment, but also quality to some degree and stuff. And speaking of that, like needing just that boost and the community coming together, we're in a little situation like that here because it's not as do or die because it's just ending, and 92 is amazing,
Right.
obviously, but
Right.
but that possibility of hitting six figures is just so tempting. I know everyone else feels it too when you look at it when you see the 92. So that's kind of what this stream is about. Chat, it says we got 7 people watching. Say hi if you're in the chat. I bet at least 2 of you are bots. Prove that you're not by saying hi. But we still like bots. Bots are okay. Some of them I really don't like. Did I tell you real quick? There is somebody DM me and they're like, "Hey, I think I'm blocked on your channel," and I was like, "Okay, I'll look into it to try and unblock you." And I had to I hadn't done it before, so I was clicking around YouTube, figuring it out. Finally found like accounts that had been banned at some point over the years of this channel. I couldn't find the guy, so I was like, dang, I can't find you. But all I could find was like 50 Sonic the Hedgehog accounts. They were all bots. And I remember it was that Sonic. They were like, he kept posting N-I-G-G. And you're like, stop. And then he gets banned or whatever.
And you had to ban him just before, yeah.
Yeah. So it was like that bot at some point was going around all the time on YouTube. And I guess I banned him like 20 times. Maybe there was 20 different iterations of that one bot. Sonic the Hedgehog, of all things, it's Sonic.
Sonic the supremacist.
Yeah.
Gotta cut him off. Sorry, Sonic. Sorry.
That is a nice thing that mods can do. They can pretty quickly put a kibosh on the Sonic. Crystal McGee's here. How's it going, Crystal?
What's up, Crystal? I believe in Crystal Light.
I just heard you say, "What's up, Crystal?" And I almost thought that was Crystal. I was like, "How is she talking to us?"
Right. I was just speaking for her. She was talking through me. She's speaking through me.
Yeah, she almost covers your face, and then I was like, "What?" She's speaking in tongues to us through the computer. How did she do that?
Guys, I'm really far away, but I'm part of the stream.
See, that almost sounds like her. I swear.
I don't even know what she sounds like. Normal.
She's very soft spoken, and then kind of like sounds like you falsetto is almost like Crystal.
Good. Very good. Very good. Well, I'll try not to do that like, if she's ever on stream with us. It'd get confusing, It's just too much like her. Just too much. Whew. But yeah, guys, I want to thank everyone. Getting to 92 is already amazing. It's already through the roof, like beyond what I could expect. For this. Bro. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Bro. Okay. So Black Terror dons his dark metal once again to take on these vengeful super Nazis that bomb his hood. These creepers from his past have come back, and things are getting real brutal, real fast. Real John Carpenter up in here. Black Terror was named by the actual Nazis in World War II because he was bulletproof. He's super strong, and he uses trench knives like a blender as he moves through the trenches, cutting everybody's limbs and heads off like a crazy maniac, and all in the name of America, baby. But as he gets closer to you, he breathes out this gas that gives him his strength and his durability. His exhalations of it is this toxic fear gas. It's very scarecrow. It's very like horror-oriented. So you're seeing him is what you fear most. So, of course, Nazis end up dubbing him the Black Terror. This guy in all black turns into what you're most afraid of. Just tears up the battlefield. The war ends. He puts down the black metal, becomes the pharmacist to his little local neighborhood in New York, Strivers Row. And then one day, everything gets taken away from him, man. All of it. And that's what this book is about. He has to go back to the trenches that are now the ruins of his neighborhood and take on Nazis from his past that are like up to no good, have all kinds of crazy powers, all kinds of crazy monster type characters helping them. It's brutal. It's badass. It's cataclysmic. It's 3 books. This is book 1. And so far we've got nothing but good reviews. Art by Monica McCagney of Italy, who also did Monster MD, who's just absolutely put her heart and soul into this. We had big talks before we decided to do this, like how we were going to do it, if we could do it justice. Could we make Black Terror cooler than anything else out there? She thought we could. Here we are. And then, of course, Tiago Barça colors, phenomenal.
Yeah, great colors. Yeah, you put a
Yeah.
great team together. It's so like obviously just like better than the mainstream. And actually, Dynamite had a Black Terror book around. I don't know if it was a little bit before, but they have a
Yeah.
semi-contemporary Black Terror book. This one is like shames that one, which is kind of fun to do that.
Good
And
to hear.
I have read this one and I love it. It's awesome. Vaughn's one of the best writers in CG, putting out some of the best books for sure.
Thanks, man.
And yeah, one of the things is there's a couple highlights. One is some of the best splash pages. Like you could actually study. That came up with actually people were talking about that with ISOM too, which I just whatever. I don't. I'm worried this is already a minefield, but I actually am reading ISOM 2 and I really love it. But and ISOM 1 I really liked. But there was one example of a splash page, and you're like, yeah, that splash page isn't that good for a splash page, honestly.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, so yeah, splash pages, they're the best when they freaking slap you in the face as soon as you turn the page.
Oh, yeah.
And it can hit on multiple levels too, because it can hit visually, but it can kind of hit like kind of a story type reveal kind of situation. And
Right.
and yeah, you do that really well,
Thanks.
and it's a lot of fun. And then the other highlight is the Rogues Gallery, which you can talk a little bit about, but it almost has like a fighting game roster of badass characters, and there's everyone has their random favorites that just come out of the woodwork, and they might. It's funny because they actually, they might only be on like 5 pages of the whole book. And I think the one that maybe I don't know what kind of feedback you've gotten. I'm curious, and I'm curious, chat, if you read it too. Let us know. But it's the sniper girl. I love her. What's her name?
Lockshot.
Yeah, yeah. So has the feedback been? Do most people love her randomly out of the blue, or it's not?
Yeah,
or,
she has fandom. Like she's
Yeah,
got
yeah.
fans. And people did a
Yeah.
lot of fan art of her, I noticed.
Yeah, she might get the most fan art. She
She might.
inspires.
Yeah.
Yeah. When that happens, do you like when you see that feedback? Are you like, oh, we need to give her like another scene in the sequel, or like give her more screen time or page time or whatever? Or
No, because I already went back before she became popular and gave her more page time and screen time just because I loved her and I feel like like she's perfect in the story as is now. But it does make me think about what if I did like a little mini one shot, like little short for her of her only, like a story around her. Is kind of playing on my mind, like side stories of each of the villains.
yeah,
Would be kind of cool. You do get to learn a tiny bit about them. I'm very like cautious with it, but I like let you know like a little bit about all of them. And in book 2, it starts to get even deeper and crazier when it comes to the villains. So, and that's part of how I knew this book could be good and sell too. The hero is only as good as his villains, man.
yeah,
Black Terror is a character we kind of know of, but we kind of don't. We kind of don't care about how do I make him cool. Let's put him up against an amazing roster of villains and of course, I mean, I redesigned him and stayed pretty true to him, but I kind of made him my own too, and he's kind of more thuggy, brutal biker with trench knives, trench warrior now, and the villains he goes up against are just. I mean, they have so many different abilities and bring so many different types of chaos that it's like going to be a different battle every time. You've got the crazy, like you said, anime girl eye with sniper eyes, scopes for eyes. You've got the girl who can excite all her cells in her body and put out explosions from it. And then you've got this like kind of creepy trap jaw looking undead zombie looking guy, or ish looking guy who. He has all these gadgets and a powerful arm and like cybernetic parts of destruction. Like these are awesome villains that he gets to go up against, but they all tie into him and the story in different cool ways that you're gonna see. So that was kind of part of the fun. This story's about the damage you do coming back to haunt you, and maybe these villains need to be part of that damage in some way, And Black Terror needs to see this and learn this. There's a lot of cool stuff that connects these villains to Terror. It's not just that they fight. You know what I mean?
yeah. And then the devil lady, what's her name?
Lady Satan.
Lady Satan. I was like devil lady. I was so close.
Devil Lady. That's a manga.
Yeah, Lady Satan. She's a good guy and she's
Yeah.
badass. But yeah, this is a
Another golden
through line.
age.
Is in a fair amount of your work, you do the Rogues Gallery thing, and it is fun because then it's like and so you could say it's like an embarrassment of riches. It's like any of these individual characters, like you're saying, Lockshot, she could actually get her own series, and that would probably sell. So that's when you know you're onto something where every little nook and cranny you look of the universe is like self-sustaining in its own right and pretty badass, and then you put them all together, and you kind of design it from the ground up that way multiple times. Like the Psycho Killers one was like that,
Yeah.
and this is like that. Monster MD has it at least has, I don't know, like, yeah, some great characters. It's not, I don't know if it's quite the Rogues Gallery on the level that this one is, but
Right, right. Not as many villains in planned out in
Yeah.
Monster MD. Just more monsters and trying to figure out how to make them good patients. Lady Satan, awesome 1930s character made around the same time as Black Terror. She also killed Nazis back in the day. But she just used a gun and some knives, all right? And when they caught her, she was like, "You don't get to kill me, I do." And then stabs herself in the heart, and like she was done. They bring her back as a mystic. They don't really explain how or why. They just kind of are like, Lady Satan is mystical now. So combine them. Combine the mystic arts with guns. Boom,
Oh,
gun
yeah.
witch. You've got a gun witch. I've
Yeah,
always wanted to do a gun witch character.
Yeah, which is a sweet concept, and here it is illustrated great. It looks awesome.
Yeah, I actually have the sketches I sent to Monica of that, like, this kind of setup for the guns with the runes kind of connecting them magically and keep having them floating around her like an arsenal. But it's very controlled. It's very, it's deadly precise. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. Tons of people are blazing at you when she does. It's great.
Yeah, yeah.
Those little magic
real-
seals. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Real quick, Nintendo Gender, Terror in the Trenches was great. One of my favorites I have gotten in CG. Yeah,
Thank you.
and then Dele, Terror in the Trenches is one of the best comics I've read this year. You feel it in your gut when you return to the Black Terror. Thanks, Dele. Yeah, these
That's
are like
great.
reviews
Thank
that
you.
when it's that level of like a step above, like, because sometimes people will be like, it was good, I liked it, or nice job, or whatever.
Right.
Like,
We're
sometimes
supportive
people
of
are
each
like-
other. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes people are like, no, you don't understand. It's one of the best books. And then anytime
getting
that
a lot of
happens, you know you're onto something. Yeah. So to the rest of the chat, we got 20 people watching. I'm curious how many of you have backed. I'm sure many have, because our audiences do kind of overlap, and there was 1,500 backers or whatever. But if you haven't backed and you're considering backing, it's the next like few days to like a week max. This will be kind of closing down forever, this campaign. So it's this. That's kind of the purpose of
It
this stream.
might be closing down tonight forever, to be honest, because I talked to John Malin.
Oh yeah.
We were talking about doing a late night closeout after you and I have our fun. Yeah, it's much later tonight, so we would have time to hang for a bit. But,
no, that's cool. Yeah. Malin coming through, because he's a good guy, and you've done some work for him, Graveyard Shift and stuff.
and some godlike. Can't wait.
Yeah, nice, and some godlike. Yeah, Malin, he took his like 2 weeks off, and he came back, and he's been more centered and more coach like. I think he's been helping people close out. He's been like a pretty good
That's
guy.
awesome. That's awesome. Hells to the yeah, Malin. I appreciate him a lot, and I mean the first guy to really give me a job in comics, so can't knock that ever. It's just awesome.
Yeah,
especially after it was like a crazy circumstance too. That whole book, that was crazy. We got through it okay though. We got through it all right.
For the first book that you did for him?
The first book I did for him, the artist got went a little off off my script.
Oh yeah.
And things got crazy, so we ended up relettering it so that it would make sense now, because it didn't make any sense anymore.
Oh, that's almost like Marvel style, but it's different. It's like like botched Marvel style or something.
Right, it's like you're Marvel style, but you're like a plumber, and you're like you're like fixing all these leaks everywhere, and having we had to even make up like that the main monster had like new powers that Malin didn't ever plan to give this monster, but he ended up using the powers later to do really cool things. So he was happy this bad guy had them, so it was fortuitous in the end,
Cool. That's kind of the way it works. Like you can roll with the punches, and it ends up being, you can turn things into a blessing in disguise with
and it was fun kind of to re-letter it to make it make sense. We were kind of laughing and having fun, and kind of a headache too, and it took time, which is not cool. Like that's not. I'm not saying artists should like go off the script ever, because you shouldn't. But we made it. We tried to make it a good, fun experience, and I learned things too. It was good. It was good.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh no, after this, if people read this, they're gonna think I can't write. No one's gonna want to hire me ever, because that's what all I wanted, man. I wanted, to collaborate with a lot of people back then. I was all nervous that I wouldn't get to after, and since then I've gotten to collaborate with a ton of people. So did not hurting me.
Yeah, and it's because you were nervous, and
when it's your first book out, your first job,
that's like it's funny. It's like the first book, like we're lucky to be in the position we are now to even have that little gift of having a little bit of perspective, even because that can kind of help you and ground you and stuff. Like if things go weird, it's not really the end of the road.
It's not the end of the world. It's not.
Yeah.
The pendulum swings back the other way.
Yeah.
It's back around, baby. It's true. It's weird. You're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and now you're a grizzled artist. Years later, and you're like, okay, let's roll. Like this Qatar Witch Hunter campaign is so much more easy to set up and fun, and just like I know this stuff like the back of my hand at this point. It's great. It's going real smooth.
Yeah. What's after Qatar Witch Hunter? Well, sorry, when does
Terror
that launch?
2.
Is it okay? And then Terror 2, nice. When does Qatar Witch Hunter launch?
I want to launch that October 25th on a Wednesday.
Okay. So like 1 week.
Yeah. A week. Woo.
So keep that in mind, chat. That's kind of in the background. We're focusing on Terror, but that's something that's coming up. And that one, real quick, I'll say, because that's like part of our lore too, because that was in those early bubbling days where we were just the invertebrates crawling out of the muck of the internet or whatever. The Captain Cummings days, as we say. That was like you posted and you're like, here's my comic if anyone wants to read it. And I immediately read it, and I DM'd you. I'm like, I can tell you're a good writer just by reading this. That because of it was like 3-act structure. It was like a TV kind of script,
right.
Whatever.
Right. I had studied it in school and was trying my best to be the best writer I could and use what I learned and make it work. And it is a good, like, kind of easy way to once you learn it, you don't think about it as much, but you still like abide by it. And it's a good way to like really take people on a solid emotional journey. And you can learn to break the rules once you learn them, though. But some people do Forax these days. I'm here too, but I when you messaged me, I was like, oh geez, like this really good artist that like I really admire is like thinking I'm good too. Like this is amazing,
Yeah,
like,
and we were both nobodies back then. 50 subscribers on Twitter. So how we found each other, even kind of through. I don't know if Comicsgate was even a hashtag at that point, but it was all kind of starting to formulate. And then it's like you, me, and Mandy. Sorry if I'm forgetting some anyone, but like Bancroft maybe. But there's some people that weren't pros per se, and then have done really well in Comicsgate, which is a good representation of the Iron Age. This is something Jeto Jaga says is like the Iron Age is like two things. It's pros getting kicked out and kind of making a new career, like Ethan, Cyberfrog, that kind of stuff, right. Which is all great. But then there's also people who kind of never got their chance. They got kind of blackballed to even break into the industry. So then they do get their chance through the Iron Age, Comicsgate, whatever. And then we get to see how we do. And we're still like, I still feel like I want to keep conquering or whatever, like it's great. Like even like, so 1,500 backers is so great, but I'm like, what didn't it used to be like 1 million in the 90s? Like they got 1 million readers in the 90s. Now we're down to 2,000 is like really good if you got 2,000. I'm like, how do we get back to 1 million? How do we even do that? I thought about it though. One way you do it is we have to all start dating a hot celebrity chick, like who's really famous. Yeah,
I've been working on it. I'm in the DMs, all of them, all the hot celebrity chicks at once.
Yeah, and then the celebrity chicks, but the rule is that celebrity chicks have to have a word for their fandom. So Like, doesn't the one lady have Little Monsters? Is like the one chick. All
Huh?
her fans are called Little Monsters. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No idea, and I'm glad I don't
What
know.
what's her name? It's the one. It's the chick who goes, "I want your love and I want your disease." Do you know what I'm talking about? You don't
I feel
know
like I've heard that before somewhere
the
at a
channel
bar that I
though.
didn't want to be at or something.
She's got kind of a big nose, but she's like kind of hot. But
Oh,
what's
Lady
her name?
Gaga?
Yeah, Lady Gaga. So
That
one
hoe?
of yeah, one of us has to date Lady Gaga because then you get the Little Monsters, and then
Oh,
she'll.
she's about to tear it up on Joker Part 2. Have you seen the new pictures they released of her as Harley Quinn?
Yeah, it looks pretty cool, honestly.
Looks kind of
Joaquin
crazy,
Phoenix,
yeah.
everything he does is good. So and the first one was cool. So I mean, it'll probably be
Yeah.
good. The thing is, I wonder what they'll do because the first one was already like a thing, and if you
Right.
just do the same thing again, that kind of won't work, or it might even suck. So I'm pretty sure they're
Well,
not
they
gonna
are
do
doing
that,
a
but-
musical, so that mixes it up a little bit.
Okay, yeah, getting a little bit more insane. Maybe that's their idea
Right.
to more
It's
down
I
the
feel like
rabbit
this
hole.
one is the love story.
Yeah,
The crazy, evil, horrifying love story, you know.
yeah,
Hey, literature dev.
yeah.
That's
Lit
awesome.
Dev, thanks for popping in here, saying hi.
Literature
Lit
Dev.
Dev's a great writer amongst CG as well. Got his own
Yes, he
books.
is. Guys should check him out. You will love his books.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking hilarious. Good writing. But yeah,
Um,
I'm happy that we have come as far as we have, Narwhal. Like we've ground our way here, and we've earned it, and we're still putting out cool art with cool people, and making new fans. And I don't know, we do. How do we get to 1 million? Well, they were selling millions, comics were the cool thing. Like Rob Liefeld was in
Yeah.
Levi's commercials, for crying out loud. Like, how do you? We have to date. What celebrity should I call for my dating? So you want
Well,
Gaga?
to get the other
Gaga?
blonde one, she's dating a football player right now. Do you know
Sounds
what
like
I'm
I might
talking
get hurt.
about? Yeah. No, what's her name? She's the other. I can't believe I can't think of these women's names, but she's like a
It's
very
for the
She's
best.
the
No, well,
most.
trust me.
Yeah, the chat will know who's the other really blonde chick who's like super famous.
Blonde in L.A.
She's dating a Oklahoma City football guy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Charlize
so
Theron,
Taylor Swift,
Taylor Swift, Tay Swift.
only like the most.
Okay.
She is the most famous, I think, maybe
Yeah.
person in a while or whatever.
Yeah,
Um,
and we'll
it's
get her to endorse your books, Darwell. And then
Yeah,
when you break
yeah.
up, she'll write a song about you.
yeah.
Swim,
So that's
Narwhal, swim, or some shit.
it's something like that, or another path, because this is almost like semi serious. It's like because it's like pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. Because it is, you're right. It's coolness is what does it. But and then I was thinking, even what are the coolest books or the coolest creators? You're like, yeah, like Liefeld. It's funny, they aren't. It's not directly
Mark
correlated with quality. Yeah, it's like they have to be good, but they aren't like the best. Are not always the coolest. But like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Sin City, I remember both feeling those had like the aura around them. Especially the one I experienced in my own life was Sin City. Like that's the one where like people in college parties are like handing it to each other on the staircase, that kind of stuff. And
That's
like how do
special.
we
Yeah.
yeah, how do we get back there? Sin City took 10 years to gestate and get like that though. Like I mean, and that was a legend in his second wind even, so many things. But
Was the movie out when you found out about it, or was it before?
yeah, it was that or like right before even, but it was like right around then was when all the things were happening. Like people were reading it, and then the movie was also happening. Because I think Robert Rodriguez, I like him a lot, but I don't even think he would have he discovered and felt the coolness. That's why he wanted to make the movie. So like I don't think he was like that much of like a trendsetter who was like, I'm gonna take something that's not even that cool, make it super cool. He was like, this is so freaking cool. Everyone's talking about it. I'm gonna make
It was considered the cool book in comics first before the popular culture took it in.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was when you picked it up, there's nothing like it, and that is enough. Same thing with Ninja Turtles. There's nothing like that, and notice how both of them were black and white and kind of like pulpy, beat upy, like grungy books too. It just made it more awesome.
Yeah. That was how your boy Zach pitched Iron Sights. Do you remember that back in the
Yes,
day?
I do remember
He's
that
like,
pitch too. Yeah.
yeah, he's like, I want this book to be the kind of book that you find under a toilet at a truck stop. I'm like, that's not exactly the same
That's
because
why
that means
I
like
look
someone
under
threw it
those
away.
toilets at truck stops. Yeah, that's what I do. Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Iron sights. What? Yeah.
yeah.
It did. It
Well,
looked stained in weird juices when I got it. It does. It's got like a weird tannish. It's not just black and white. It's got like a sepia on the truck stop
yeah.
floor aroma.
Yeah. Right beneath the glory hole. That's like where you'll find it.
Yeah. Hey, this book glows in the dark. That's awesome. Glows in the
Yeah.
fluorescent light. That's awesome. Why does it do that? Yeah, that's definitely. I mean, I think that's cool too. I actually withdrawing my own book. I want it to be intentionally messed up and punky and grungy, and not worry about perfection as much as I do expression and feeling. You know what I mean? Like, get it'll still be a Von book, like brutal violence, sexy women, great sharp one-liners, wit, some great themes you can actually like sink your teeth into, some good human moments, but then like lots of brutal action. I'm obsessed with taking what Japan did with fighting comics and then bettering that and making it more dramatic and human and adding like these elements that those fighting comics can kind of leave out sometimes, you
Yeah.
know?
Cool. You
Anyway,
just described your vibe really
yeah.
succinctly too, with like one-liners are important. It is, and that is part of the joy of reading a Vaughn book is catching the witty dialogue and stuff. Is all like usually you'll have at least one character who is your window to that opportunity. They'll be like a little more clever or whatever.
The mouth. Yeah, I'm obsessed with
Yeah,
the mouth because I was the mouth growing up.
yeah. Like you could write Spider-Man or something
Really?
if
Whew, that's intimidating.
yeah. Well, that's
But I'd have
speaking of
fun.
that.
Yeah.
This is changing the subject slightly, but this is another kind of thing that's come up is there's this discussion about quote unquote saving the industry. And everyone's got plans. A lot of the older dudes are like making companies and stuff. And then Mark Miller's been saying he's like, yeah, the legends need to come back to DC for like one run for like
One
for a year or whatever.
one big hurrah last like
Yeah, and
ride out.
that will save it. And that the only thing I have like a little critique on all that because I'm like, I actually don't necessarily think that would save it because I don't
Yeah.
know. I just don't. I think actually what would
Right.
save it is you and me. Like they should just hire us. We'll save it,
I'll
but
do my
not old
best. Yeah.
people.
Well,
Yeah.
well, here's why I kind of agree with you, but I have some reasoning behind it.
Hmm.
Superheroes in the current state they're in can sell, but they're not cool to the kids who used to buy superhero comics. They're all buying manga. To them, superheroes are their dad's comics. So they're like, ugh. Like they see that as like old man stuff, you know? So then you bring men in and do one last hurrah. Comics would love it and it would make some money, but it wouldn't be saving comics in a significant way, I don't think. I think it would be kind of a temporary hurrah as it still kind of is not doing so hot and manga still outsells it by legions, you know? So it's how do you take a company that's built on these characters and now none of the characters are really that cool, even though you could argue but they're making money at the box office, you know? It's but movies are just different and people are superhero movies have tired us out. I mean, I don't know if it's superhero fatigue is real as much as it's like, you know, I'm just sick of even just hearing about the next superhero movie, that bottom of the barrel, like the Marvels. Like that's gonna bomb.
Yeah. And
No
actually,
one
yeah,
cares. Yeah.
that is an interesting point, and it's funny. It's like a little potentially a little bit sad or whatever because you're like, well, because I'm
I
even
love
thinking
superheroes.
like, could you in theory even save the industry by saying like, say there's a new Spider-Man book that's actually good, and everyone's like, no, this is like Spider-Man how he's meant to be written, a return to the roots. The second you're like a return to the roots, even that is like, it's like
Yeah.
not going to be that. It's not going to be like the game-breaking thing that saves quote unquote
Yeah.
saves the industry. It does have to be like almost like a new thing. It would be like a new character that takes off or something, or I don't know what it would be, but
Yeah, I mean, how? But it's isn't it kind of freaky? Think about it, Narwhal. Imagine if DC hired you to make up an all new character that's going to save them, and it has to work within their their universe, right? Within their rules and their character storylines, their setups, you know? That's intense. That's crazy. Like, how would you even do it? I've I don't know. It
Yeah.
really is like people like you and me and other types of creators. Arvid Nelson's also kind of doing this. There's tons of other ones I want to mention here, but let me to get to the point of it. We are doing the new cool things. Like we really are. Like it's happening. Like we just have to keep grinding. And I think something new and interesting could come out of this. Something big, you know. And it doesn't necessarily have to be superheroes. It could be. I love superheroes, no matter how up or down or cool or not cool they're considered by society. I don't give a damn. Like they're already in my heart, you know.
Yeah.
These characters, they're great. They're all time great characters. They're part of American mythology in a way now, and they should be respected no matter what. So, I don't know. It would be awesome. Mark Miller's idea still is awesome. It reminds me of like at the end of Excalibur, where Arthur and the knights just go out for their final battle, like kill. And they go out and kill Oh god, so
Did you
awesome.
just sang like the Final Fantasy VII music? Dun, 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 dun.
Did they take that song too? That's the song. Yeah. That's the end of Excalibur, man.
Oh, okay. Did FF7 steal it from Excalibur? I don't know.
Well, I mean, that song's used by a lot of people. It's
Yeah.
kind of classic. I think it's Wagner, though, so you might not hear it as much anymore because, you know, Jewish people
Yeah.
don't want to hear that shit.
Yeah. But,
And
yeah.
they run our entertainment, kind of, sort of, maybe, sort of. So they don't want to hear that. No, I think I could be wrong about the Wagner thing, though. I don't know.
Yeah. By the way, we got Lit Dev. Lit Dev, how's it going, man?
Hello, doing pretty good.
What's up,
Hey,
man? Good to see you.
We're talking a little bit about like if comics get cool again, theories to save the industry. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I mean, like this, if comics get popular,
Like one thing I was saying is like we all got to pick a pop star that has a name for her fandom, and then we got to date them and steal their fandom. So I'll take Vaughn's gonna get the Swifties. I'll get the Little Monsters, and I don't know what other words there are for the fandoms, but
I guess it's like we become rock stars and steal and then we get the, as
Yeah.
Scarface says, you know, you get the money and then you get the they get the
yeah. Yeah, maybe one of us could try and go after the Twilight Lady because she's like a cougar now, maybe, and just take her. That's kind of ran its
She's-
course, but you could
Is she a lesbian?
I
we
think
could
she's
send.
Mormon.
Yeah,
I think she's Mormon. She's part of the Mormon Mafia. I heard.
yeah. Is it Stephanie Meyer?
Stewart?
I'm trying to remember.
Stewart? Oh, you meant the
Yeah,
girl
Stephanie
who wrote
Meyer,
it.
yeah.
I thought you meant the chick who acted in the movie, this Kristen Stewart.
Yeah. No,
Maybe-
either
I'm
one.
not even sure if she's a person. I thought she was like a NPC automaton thing.
Yeah,
Automaton thing.
she could be. She was formed in a vat to be famous for 1 year, and then they melt her down when she's done.
And she really tried to maintain her fame, and then it just didn't work.
Yeah.
I do like
Shadow
Twilight
Dagger.
because it does show off, you know, it shows off the female fantasy. It's perfect. Like it highlights everything that women want in a story. Plain quote unquote main character, and two hunky guys to choose from that are fighting over her. And one's a werewolf
Yeah.
and one's a vampire.
Yeah.
Well, it's perfect.
It's a little base.
It's perfect. It's the perfect quintessential YA template.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah,
Also,
it's unapologetic, you could say too. That's
Yeah,
I
like
have
a
not
good
read the
thing.
books. I have heard of the story and everything, and it's like it's classic because, as far as I know, the main character does not really do anything. She just kind of shows up, and everyone just falls in love with her. Very very passive protagonist. Women tend to write these characters. Even Harry Potter. Even Harry Potter's like this. He's a guy. He kind of just walks into the wizarding world, and just things happen to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unbelievable. It's big things are going to happen to me is more of a feminine, I guess, writing perspective that they bring instead of like I make it happen, which is the more masculine. Like,
Right.
Let's make
Because
it
I
happen.
mean, what usually happens in traditional storytelling, it's the woman is all she has to do is sit there and be and provide feminine qualities and virtues, which is, you know, be kind and cherishing and, well, you know, pure. That's what men desire. So usually it's the guy coming in to save the day, slaying the dragon and saving her. So from the women's perspective is that does happen. You sit there and great things, a great man will come and try to attain you. So that's kind of where they come from most of the time.
I am a prize to be won.
It is.
You must. But
Yeah,
I don't
they're-
need you to save me.
Yeah,
That's
their
literally how
fantasy.
the original works. Yeah.
Yeah, their fantasy is to be like just inspiring men, like theoretically with their looks or
Yeah,
whatever.
because what is it? We got 50 Shades of Grey too, right? It's like where she the millionaire is like, oh my goodness, Anastasia Steele, you're so awesome,
Yeah.
Now the fantasy used to be come save me. Now it's come save me, and then I'm going to tell you piss off. I don't need you, and walk out like on you.
That is the new fantasy. It's a power to say no. It's a thrilling power to have this awesome, handsome billionaire fall head over heels in love with you and reject all other women, and then you say no. You have the power to say no.
That is funny. I wonder if that's like an era of where we're at for sure. Barbie was like that, just for the record. That was like the most like of the moment era kind of.
I didn't
thing
watch
or
the movie.
whatever,
There's too much pink in it and not enough murder. So
yeah, I haven't seen it, nor will I ever. But I actually don't hate it like other people, I guess. But
I don't want
it does
pink. I
feel
want
like-
red. Lots and lots of red.
Yeah, they say like horror movies are like of the era too. Like you can determine society and what's happening a little bit by watching horror movies. And
Oh yeah,
I wonder what modern horror movies are even saying right now. What they'd even say. So it might be hard to say when you're in the middle of it, but it feels like something's happening with that now. And it's not like it's not necessarily meaning we're having good movies. We're in kind of a bad era of movies and stories and whatever. But it's kind of like this weird feminist era for sure.
But we are making a lot of horror movies, and they're making some money still. Even the bad ones, they always kind of have. But we are making a lot of horror because of Shudder pushing out more and competing and stuff. And there's some good stuff out there now. And what are we afraid of now? I feel like we're almost kind of going back a little to the 80s and getting into slasher territory with Terrifier and It Follows reminded me of like an 80s Nightmare on Elm Street type film. That's a recent things. Like we are doing all these things, but you're right, Narwhal. We can see whatever we're afraid of at the time in society if we watch what like the current horror things. You watch the original Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and we were afraid of communism invading us, and that was written to be kind of a little propaganda-y. But it was anti-communist, but it was actually a well-done film too. It's actually really good. But yeah, we were afraid of that, and that movie totally captures the fear of that era. And then in the 70s, you start getting more of those horror movies where women are like biting men's junk off and like getting their revenge after getting raped, and I Spit on Your Grave and stuff like that. And you start you start getting slashers, which was like pretty interesting too, because in the 70s there was so much brutal crimes we were starting to see and starting to find out about more through television and photographs and true crimey type stuff. And the 70s was crazy for like brutal serial killers too. So like all those fears must have birthed all that type of stuff. Like you got your Halloween movie, and stuff like that. So
yeah. What is? Oh, I saw a movie. There's people are saying are good. Is Crystal mentioned it? It's Talk to Me. I finally saw that. Have you guys seen that one?
I don't think so.
That people are saying that's the best of the year, and it is really great. It might be, I don't know, but it's just on you can rent it on YouTube now for $5. So it was in theaters a few months ago. But it's made by YouTubers. That's the other thing. We're getting to kind of an era where YouTubers are actually making good movies, because there was definitely an era where they were making cringe movies or whatever. They were trying and
That
failing.
is true. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and now it's like enough time has passed that YouTubers can actually make good movies. It seems like there's been a couple in the past year even. But Talk to Me, it's made by two Australian dudes, and it's about an embalmed hand that's like a party trick almost. The kids are just having fun with it at first, but you grab it and you say talk to me, and then you can see a spirit, and then you say I let you in, and then it possesses you, and then they are just having fun with that, and it's like goes wrong, blah blah blah.
Fun party game.
Yeah,
Possession, self-possession. It's fun.
Who gets possessed first wins.
Yeah. So I wonder if there is a lot of demon movies. We're in the era of demon possession, demon movies.
Tons of exorcism movies happening.
Yeah,
I watched The
that
Pope's
kind of
Exorcist recently, which I kind of liked until the ending where all the monsters appeared and it became like infinitely less scary. I mean,
It became a B movie suddenly.
it really did. It's like at first it was had all this subtlety and this mystery,
Right.
and all of a
Good
sudden,
characters.
What is this
Yeah.
house? This house of like the Inquisitor, the Inquisition house, and why did this family inherit it? What kind of family did the husband come from? Where the wife inherited this weird torture house? What the hell's happening?
That's the
that was
Pope's
weird.
Exorcist.
Yeah, it's crazy. At first, it's like, okay, so this is gonna be pretty cool. It starts off pretty interesting. Where
Yeah.
like the Exorcist is like, oh, like we see him perform an exorcism, and he's like, no, it wasn't really a demon. Like it was just a guy who was mentally disturbed. We just perform theater to convince him that the demon is gone. So I was like,
Right.
it's gonna go into psychological territory, and then all of a sudden we're fighting freaking ghosts and demons and stuff. I guess like, oh, okay, this went off the rails real quick.
Like it's this like good drama at first, and then like the end, it's like it's like a bad Xbox game or something. You're like,
Yeah,
okay.
the problem is, those things don't mix. Like The Exorcist, the reason it's so cool is they play it realistic the whole way, kind of, and then the fact that the semi creepy shit that's happening is still like couched in reality, and like the worst thing that happens is the priest throws himself out a window and dies at the end or whatever.
Yeah, and that was
It's
kind of
like-
funny actually. It kind of broke the immersion.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a part of the Pope's Exorcist where I just broke out laughing, where like the mom or the daughter just kind of gets sung into the bed, like the bed's eating her. I was like, and then the Pope has to rush in, or the Exorcist has to rush in and reach into the bed to grab her out of the bed. I was like, oh come on.
Yeah, see, it's like too much. It's like, because if you try to do it realistic and then
remember
do
that.
that, like if you start crazy and stay crazy, then you laugh, or then it'd be
It breaks
fun,
the
but-
tone. Like it starts off the tone. It's like it's very like serious at first, and he goes in like in front of like an inquisition of his own, and then it gets way crazy. Like wait a minute here.
Yeah, you know what movie wasn't that bad necessarily? It was the other Russell Crowe movie from like last year where he plays the road rage guy who just becomes a serial killer. And do you guys know that one? It's called like Rage or something. It's called
Is it
like,
called like Break or Broken or?
yeah, like.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw that. I thought that was Liam Gray on the cover at first. Like he looked crazy. Like he was
Yeah.
gonna murder somebody in a fight.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one though. I didn't see that one.
Oh yeah, it's funny. That's one that is, if it's even for Halloween season, it's like like that movie's kind of okay for what it is. It's like a thriller about a stalker, and it's actually kind of like Russell Crowe's pretty good in it. That one had something funny though. It's another way you can kind of measure something about these movies. Is it had, what do you call it? It had I'll give you an example though. So it's like some shit happening in traffic, and they just randomly, just for a few seconds, start following a new character. And it's someone, they're like talking on their phone and putting her makeup on or something, and she's slowing up traffic so people are honking at her. And she's like, "Shut up, you guys can wait." And then the action plays out, then it cuts back to her, and she gets ejected from the car and like impaled on a lamppost. And so it's like the filmmakers kind of saying like, "Fuck this bitch" or whatever. And you're like, why was that in the movie? That's ridiculous.
Because fuck that bitch. That's why.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn, dude. It's like they said in the original Exorcist movie, that's way too much of a vulgar display of power, Karis. I can't do that. Like, there are rules for the devil, you know? And, like, in Pope's Exorcist, you think there are, and then no, like, Diablo steps out of a crucifix and it's like, blah!
Yeah, that
And
was
you're
as
just
I started
like,
seeing visions and stuff like that. The thing is, I actually heard interviews with from actual exorcists, and the way that it's portrayed
Unhinged.
in the Pope's Exorcist is kind of like that in the beginning, where like, okay, you have the the rules are set, the power, the using the demon's name and everything. What doesn't usually happen is all the wackadoo like visions and stuff like that, and people coming to life, and the Virgin Mary coming down in a vision. Like that stuff doesn't really happen. But in the beginning, it's pretty close to what actual exorcists say kind of happen. But after a certain point, just like obviously,
Hollywood came in.
Hollywood
My mom
came in,
said,
it's like-
she was like, I hope they paid Russell Crowe a lot for this movie.
I hope they did too. I like Russell
Me
Crowe.
too. I like him. I've liked him since
Yeah,
Romper
he-
Stomper, baby.
Yeah. He's in a new era. He's in Fat Russell Crowe era.
Yeah.
And-
Don't give a shit, Crow era.
Now he's
Yeah,
playing
and he's
in,
like-
playing roles where he can be.
Yeah, and something else,
Yeah.
he's like
He-
really
yeah.
friendly on social media. Even though I guess there's legends of him getting in bar fights and stuff, but he's like pretty cute.
And
fun
fighting
on
around the
social media.
world.
Yeah.
I love
Hey,
it.
Tugger, what's going on there?
Actually, the Pope's Exorcist reminds me of another trend going on in horror right now, which is taking real life people in order to be able to say based on a true story, like they did with the Warrens for the Conjuring movies.
Oh
It's
yeah,
been very popular.
I always like
yeah,
the story of the Warrens, but like some of them are you look into the Warrens and maybe not all of them are true, but some of them are kind of creepy. Like they have a doll that
yeah.
was kind of haunted. I love I was obsessed with the Warrens for a while. Like their
Right.
adventures, and it was really cool that they have this like house full of horrors that they have
Yeah,
from
they're
different places.
Yeah, there's a new weird documentary on Netflix that's straight up about a guy who claims he blacked out. Then they claimed he was possessed, and he stabs a dude to death.
I remember
And
that. I
the
remember that
Warrens
story.
are involved. Yeah, yeah.
oh yeah. It's like the only time that claiming being possessed was used as a defense in a murder or something like that.
Oh, it's
And
been a few times, hasn't it? Or was this the only time?
yeah, or maybe it was the only time that it
Or the
worked.
first
Yeah,
time.
Like,
I was about to say.
Yeah,
I
maybe it
think it's the only
worked.
time it worked. Because I think
Yeah.
it did work.
Oh, see, I didn't finish the doc, so this is more interesting now. So it works. That's
Yeah.
something, man.
yeah. Oh,
That's
speaking of that, speaking of real life shit, I watched a YouTube video about a guy who killed some home invaders. There were kids that had been so this is all true, kind of like the kids had been breaking in whenever he left and stealing shit. It happened like 3 or 4 times. And so his new plan was he faked leaving, snuck back without the kids knowing, and he waited for him at the bottom of the stairs with a shotgun. And then sure enough, they come in and he blasts them both and they die. And but then part of what it got him, so he did go to jail for like life, even for murder. It's kind of weird though, like they broke in, but he totally laid a trap. But he recorded himself for some reason while he was waiting to kill them. And so there's this tape of him like breathing and talking to himself. And for some reason, he only says one thing, but he says, "Cover your left eye." And I'm like, why did he say that? Why? Because that's demonic. Like, why did he say that? Is he talking to Satan when
Is
he's
he
waiting
talking
to kill
about?
these kids?
Ooh, weird. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's creepy. Or is
Yeah.
it? Wow, that's weird. I was thinking about the Warrens, man, and they were like you were talking about Lit Devil. There's a lot of like they made it up stuff. They liked making up books to sell to Hollywood. They were making a lot of money.
Yeah, there's some points where I think where they
Yeah.
legitimately made things up to make it scarier.
Right.
But
Right.
there are some things in there that are a little weird and unexplainable. So
Right.
it's very fascinating at the very
They're
least.
interesting. So it's like, but what always was interesting to me was like when I was growing up, my mom would always be like, "Oh, well, they were kind of exposed as like hucksters." So now that I'm older, to see them as like an awesome power couple and like multiple billion-dollar making movies, you know what I mean? And they're like, it's like their old stories now getting retold for a new generation. Like people these days believe this stuff more than they used to. When I was growing up, people were more skeptical of ghosts and big feats and UFOs and stuff. Now everyone I meet is way more into it and way more of
Yeah.
a believer than ever. It's very interesting, and I think part of the reason we're seeing that trend with the like based off a true story is because of. And then why we're seeing Ancient Aliens do so well, other than the fact that a lot of us at home are just laughing at it too and being skeptical of it and yelling at the TV, which is what I do. But you know what I mean? It's very interesting how we've gravitated towards
Yeah.
believing
Yeah.
more, believing more. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a good. Crystal, what's up? How's it going?
Hey, pretty good.
Real quick, we're talking about like skepticism kind of going down, and part of that is like
Nice.
YouTube. Like you can click on any YouTube video about like compilations of supernatural events, kind of, and
I was
that's one thing
literally
I've noticed.
watching this channel that I watch, Crime Weekly. They have they're covering that Arnie case, The Devil Made Me Do It. So I've been listening to that. It's like an hour plus. It's great.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's like there's so much stuff out there for that, and there some of it. I don't know. I've seen videos of where it's someone giving commentary, and they're like trying to debunk it, but some of it's like creepy. I'm like, what?
Like
what,
some
how
of
did
it
they-
can't be explained, dude. Like
Yeah.
you would literally have to be there to like know what's up.
Yeah. And yeah, like there's ones of I don't know because it's like there would have to be so many grifting liars, and I find that kind of hard to
Because
believe.
there's
I know-
so many involved. Like there's this case in Mexico, I believe, and they made a film about it, and it was this younger girl. I think her name was Veronica or something like that. It's
Mhm.
kind of I'm kind of like foggy on the details, but the police showed up to the house and it was like a complete wreck. Like she'd played with like a Ouija board like the weeks prior, and the
Yeah.
police came and the police saw like weird stuff going on, and it was like legitimately in the police report, and the police were like traumatized from what they saw. And it's like what good would it do for them to come out and say that?
Yeah, yeah. The level of how many, if it was like a
I
lie
mean,
at
you
that point.
could, but you're not going to benefit too much from doing that.
Yeah. And the fact that there is like hundreds or even thousands of videos on
Hmm.
YouTube now, and it's like, yeah, some of
Oh
those
yeah.
are, because some of it too, like the thing that's creepy is like a little shift in the light, and even that, but like in a way that's like still really hard to explain or can't
Hmm.
explain. And you're like, well, I mean, maybe CGI, but even then you're like, you can look into it and
Hmm.
it's like, I don't know, they're just regular people.
Like the stuff that's the most credible to me is when there's so many people, like eyewitnesses, and especially when it ends up in a police report, it's more like legitimate to me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What do you think, Crystal, about the state of horror films being a representing like what's happening in the world currently, kind of thing?
Well, when there's good ones, like currently, I know, like I heard you guys talking about Terrifier 3, which is, or Terrifier 2, sorry. I'm so excited for 3. I keep thinking
Yeah,
3. But like 2, it's really awesome. And
yeah,
Talk to Me is really cool too. It's awesome that you got a chance to check that out. I feel like a lot more it's kind of shifting to kind of like sort of like possession seems to
yeah,
be the topic of
yeah. We're in
people's
an era of
fears, or
possession.
like kind of like spiritual like entity stuff, like with Terrifier. Like that's straight up probably like he's probably a demonic entity, you know.
Yeah, yeah, like Terrifier is really hitting the nail on the head, however they're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Hearing what people say about Terrifier is interesting too, because even Terrifier 1, like people are
Mm-hmm.
like, it's so refreshing. I remember people saying that,
Yeah,
and that's kind
it
of what
was
I
great.
felt. But I was like, it's so funny because it's so basic, but that maybe that's what people like about it, or
Sometimes like you just have to strip it stuff down to the basics, because
yeah,
a lot of times fear is just like our lack of understanding for stuff, and peeling a lot of that away and simplifying it can sometimes make it 10 times scarier.
yeah. Brian, how's it going, man?
It's going good. It's going good.
Hey,
What up,
You,
Boils and Ghoul?
you got your
you're an
new place.
Yeah, sure do.
you're an
Yeah.
expert on horror movies too. So we got a good little panel brewing here. It's kind of shifting into possible some
Spooky.
horror
Yeah,
discussion,
I
and some
mean,
Halloween.
being like a horror movie expert, it's not something you aspire to. It's something that kind of happens to you,
Yeah,
right? And I just grew up loving horror movies, and I had all my. I'm basically consider myself a grown-up monster kid, right?
yeah,
Ultimately, I'm always still going to be that kid with his copies of famous monsters of Filmland and Starlog and Fangoria, and Castle of Frankenstein, and all that stuff. And I think that horror is really taking off right now because horror is very cheap to produce. And one of the
hmm,
reasons why horror is cheap to produce is because you don't need movie stars for it.
Hmm.
The genre is the star. That's not to
yeah,
say, of course, you can't make some piece of shit like that Tom Cruise Mummy,
Mummy movie. Yeah,
No, no.
right?
The Tom
Or
Cruise
the
one. Yeah, I remember that
That
one.
doesn't
yeah,
exist.
It was
yeah,
supposed to launch their huge universe.
the
It was
Dark
supposed
Yeah.
to.
Universe.
Colossal
What was it? Was it called? It's called the Dark Universe or something like that. Like this
yeah.
monster. Like no.
Literally Tom Cruise's biggest and only
Nobody
misstep,
asked for that.
too. Yeah,
No, I asked for it. I
You asked for
wanted
the
that like since forever, which is to say,
Now
a
the
relaunch
one
of the
thing,
Universal monsters.
Yes, that
yeah,
I
yeah,
want. That I
The
want.
one thing they were onto with that though is that they like the last couple of seconds they had like Tom Cruise turn into like a demon or something. That might have been
It's the money.
interesting. Okay, well, like
The idea
the
was
way that
yeah.
they did the CGI though, that looked like a straight up demon though, dude. I was like, that should have been the movie.
Is it Russell Crowe, Dr. Jekyll in that?
Yes,
That's the
he
one
is.
good scene in that entire
That was the
movie.
only
Damn.
He was trying
That's
to
the one
save
good
it.
scene. Find it, look it up on YouTube, and watch that, and that's all you need to see of that.
Yeah. How fat is he for that one?
It's kind of like he's mid, you know.
Well, it's
So is
great.
the mid.
It's great because he turns into like this Cockney thug.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what his Mr. Hyde is. You know, he's like this guy
That's
that's
awesome.
like from like a Guy Ritchie movie. He's gonna like tune you up
Dude,
a little
yes.
bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Spot on.
Tomb Raider
But
stuff.
it's
Speaking
like,
of,
it's
or go ahead.
to me, it's so obvious what they should do, which is like low budgets, which is to say $40-50 million,
Mhm.
get really good horror directors, and make the monsters scary again.
Yes.
Mhm.
And do Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman, and then do House of Frankenstein, and just throw them all together and have them to rip each other apart.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, but maybe you're right that horror it that's kind of where a little bit of a resurgence of because movies in general suck right now, but horror is
Well,
not so
mainstream
bad.
movies.
It's been getting better. Yeah.
Mainstream movies suck. Mainstream American movies suck. Look at what all the great stuff that's coming out of Korea, right?
Mhm.
South Korean movie industry is the bomb right now. It's been the
Yeah.
bomb for a while. It's just the creative energy. It's out there. It's just not in Hollywood.
Yeah.
100%.
Our movies cost so much more to make than ever, and they're still striking and asking for more. And it's like,
Which is wild
Yeah.
because stuff
overbloated.
like Talk to Me that we mentioned earlier, like they made 2 films for like 4 million. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
with the quality of the first film.
Yeah. Oh
Oh
wait,
my
and now
God, the A24 movies are killed. They are killing
Yes, dude.
it.
Everything out of A24 is just like a godsend, dude.
That's good.
Phenomenal.
I even liked my favorite one so far has been the Green Knight. I really enjoyed that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Dude,
very
they
interesting
have an
exploration into
RPG
the
board
idea.
game for that you can get off of
Green
A24
Knight.
site. Yes, dude, it's awesome.
I still
love
haven't
it.
seen that
Interesting.
one. That's like the one A24 movie I still haven't seen.
I have it on
That's
Blu-ray.
like
It's
$20 to
fantastic.
$30.
I really enjoy it. I really enjoy the Green Knight. It just takes the old legend and then
Mhm.
reimagines it as a kind of a psychological horror.
Yes.
It is
Yeah,
a
nice.
it is a horrific
Scary.
story. It is. It is a
Yeah,
He
yeah.
cut his head off.
What
He
makes it
invites you to
cool?
cut his head off. You cut his head off, and he picks his head back up, and he's like, "Okay, peace out. I'll see you in a year, sucker."
One year.
Yeah.
hence. It's good. The voice is so good. It's just 1 year hence, and then he starts laughing like the headless horseman.
Yes.
Sleepy
I
Hollow.
still
Great.
don't know why I haven't watched that. It's on my list, obviously. I mean, I think I've liked everything from A24 that I've seen.
Yeah.
They're just
What's
they're
this
killing it
about?
right now.
What's this about the Talk to Me people? They did 2 movies, Crystal? How did
Yeah.
that work?
So what happened is that they filmed Talk to Me, right? And you know,
Mhm.
if you watched it,
Yeah. Yeah, it's
okay,
great.
so you know at the beginning there's those 2 brothers, right?
Yeah.
And you know what happens in the opening? Well,
Yeah.
the second film is just a prequel showing basically how the hand works, who had it originally, and what happened with those 2 brothers. Like the one that specifically, like, you know, kind of offs himself at the beginning of the film. It
Yeah.
shows you like how he got to that point. And
Cool.
so they filmed the prequel and I guess you could say like the Talk to Me, the first film, like simultaneously. So they
Nice.
just filmed the prequel first and then went right into Talk to Me. Yeah.
That's
And
cool.
then but
That's
then they released Talk to Me first.
Yeah.
yeah.
So they
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of did
That's
a little
interesting.
bit
And they
like,
left it like so there's questions that way you'll want to see the prequel because like a lot of times people don't want to watch the prequel obviously because we've already seen everything,
We don't need.
but they
to see
left
it.
a lot of stuff out that way you will see the prequel to kind of get context as to what's up.
well,
Yeah,
Ty
'cause there's
West
a lot
did
of
something very
questions.
similar, didn't he, with X?
Mhm.
And
Oh yeah,
Saw.
yeah. He did.
Which
Yeah.
are both fantastic, by the way. If you haven't seen those, folks, check those out. Those are really good.
Yeah, that's another one people are talking about. Yeah. Yeah, and you know who did that way back in the days? Roger Corman. He used to make 2
Yep.
movies for the price of one
Mhm.
constantly. So that's
Yep.
kind of coming back.
Like, wasn't that Tim
Yeah,
Burton
he'd
thing
shoot
for a
really
while?
fast, and then he'd have like an extra. We'll still have like 4 days left on the set, and he'd bring in Boris Karloff and Jack Nicholson and whoever, and shoot like an entire extra movie.
Yeah.
The remaining 4 days.
Wasn't
Yeah.
Tim Burton known for making like these movies on very low budget, and that's kind of how he made his name at first?
Yeah, that's kind of how he started off. He did like Frankenweenie and stuff. Because there's like a live action short of Frankenweenie. And then
Oh.
he started doing some other stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, he was doing
and-
stuff for Disney, like not
Yep.
like Disney movies, but like the little shorts that they would
They go in
show
front of the movies.
before the Disney movies. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and he was working with Paul Rubens, and then they got Pee Wee going or whatever.
Yes.
Pee-wee's Playhouse. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, he directed, of course, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and that's why Paul Rubens is in Batman Returns, is because he wanted to kind of pay Paul Rubens back, because, like, hey, like, you gave me my career, you gave me my first shot, so, you know, it's like, you know, because this is after, you know, the porno theater.
Oh, yeah. Which, by the way, that's funny just because by today's standards, that doesn't even feel bad at all or whatever.
No, it didn't even back then. I was just like,
Yeah.
dude, really? Like they still have porno theaters? It's just like,
Yes.
have
It
you heard of this
wasn't
thing? It's
his
called a
fault.
VCR?
It wasn't his fault. He was like the first celebrity to break the got caught jacking off barrier for the public. Like I've never heard of a
cares?
celebrity
He
doing
was
that
doing
before.
it in a place he was supposed to. Okay.
Yeah. Everyone else in there was jerking it. So.
You know, if there's
It was
one
an
place
FBI
to do
sting.
that, it'd be there.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
let Pee Wee. I mean, he deserves to get his rocks off. Okay, he brought us joy. Give the man a break.
Yes.
Yeah. How did they even catch him? It's like right behind him is the FBI.
Dude,
and
exactly.
gotcha.
They were in there too. They're like, I'm off.
I was
work.
like the owners kind of. Oh, it's Pee Wee Herman. Let's call the cops.
Yeah.
And he-
He was.
I remember at the time he had like a full goatee and long shoulder-length hair and looked like a thug, a straight thug in his mugshot.
yeah.
And like
This
as
is
a
crap.
kid, to see him go from Pee Wee Herman to that freaks you out. You're just like, bam! The world is cold and dark and full of horror. You know. So.
But
it
meanwhile,
was shocking.
the reason why he got so much heat was because it was like, I remember hearing my mother saying, "Oh, it's terrible because he's for the kids." I'm like,
That's
but if you
what
watch the
heck?
original Pee-wee's Playhouse special, which was like a stage show, it was
Yeah.
put on by the Groundlings, which was on HBO, that was very adult oriented. There's a lot
Yeah.
of like dirty, pretty filthy humor.
Well, he was
Yeah.
he was doing that to get revenge on Saturday Night Live for not hiring him.
Yes.
Oh,
Rightfully
nice.
so.
Yeah, he went from like
Yeah.
the
And he won. all the
adult
awards.
like kind of subversive humor to from that they make a kids show. That kind of path might have happened in the past too. It's an interesting path where the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is almost like that. Like the original is not for kids, then they make a kids thing out of it, and then whatever it goes back eventually. Real quick, because we got 34 people watching, we got a nice panel going, a fun discussion, just talking horror movies and stuff. It's turning into a little bit of a Halloween kind of horror movie thing. But yeah, the point of this stream is kind of a shout out for Terror in the Trenches. Vaughn is kind of on his big closing tour here today, tonight. It probably is going to be the last chance to get it. So you can see it's very close to 1,600 backers, very close to 100,000. If you haven't got this yet, you've been seeing the positive comments going through in the chat. Of the 34 people here, I'm sure a lot have backed it already. But if you haven't, definitely consider picking it up. That's the purpose of this stream, and The Last Chance is a great book. So yeah,
It is a Vaughn
yeah,
story,
it's
so you know it's going to be a pleasurable experience.
yeah.
Look at that shine right there on that cover.
Ah.
Yeah, it's good. I had a lot of fun reading as well, and I also
Oh, it's great.
Monster
It's great
MD,
fun.
fantastic. I'm
Thanks,
waiting for the next
Brian.
Monster MD. Like, I'm waiting
And-
for the
Me
next one.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I could feel your guys' weight. I could feel it. Because I keep thinking about Monster MD2 lately. It's gonna get written. It's gonna get done. We're gonna finish Trenches, and then I want to dive right into Monster MD2.
Yeah, sweet.
well, you're killing it, dude. You're killing it. And that's the thing. It's like people now associate your name with quality. And
Yeah.
that's the most important thing that we can do with our brands is to just deliver cool shit.
That's what I like to do, man. This is what makes
That's
me
what
happy.
you're doing.
Making people happy, making cool shit with cool people. This is where it's at. So yeah, it's good times. Good times.
Yeah, man.
Thank you, and thank you all for who's supported so far, and all the other YouTubers who've had me on. Everybody, you've all been amazing. Without you guys, I can't do this. And thanks for making me able to do what I love for a living happen. It's changed everything for me, man. So I
You're living the
appreciate it.
dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's worth it. It's worth it. It's a lot of work, and it's so worth it to make everybody happy, to hear everyone respond to the way they have to Trenches. I mean, it keeps me going. It keeps me feeling like I am doing what I'm supposed to be doing, you know? After trying to do everything but comics in life, I loved doing them, and I couldn't help it. It was like my mistress. I always did them, but I was always trying, like, try this career, try that, try this, you know? But
Me too.
comics are where it's at, man. That's where
Yeah.
my heart's at, so.
Well,
And I
we're
think-
so lucky to be doing what we're doing, and that
Yeah.
we have an audience out there that
Mm-hmm.
actually supports what we're doing. You know, that's like
And
the
the internet.
and that's the thing that also comes off about everybody here. We're grateful, right? We're not like these pricks in the mainstream industry that just feel entitled.
Yeah,
Yeah.
was like you must qualify to order my product. That's the mainstream.
Yeah.
Or even worse, they're like, "Don't buy my book." It's like, dude, no, buy my.
Yeah.
If you don't like
Yeah.
my politics,
If you don't like
buy
my
my
book,
book.
If you don't like my politics, don't buy my book.
Yeah.
Problem solved.
If you
Okay.
don't like my politics, continue buying my book because there's
Exactly.
no politics in there.
Yes.
I didn't put anything in there. It's
You
just-
don't have
Yeah.
to deal with that. Yeah.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
simple.
Who knows? You might end up liking me a little bit. Who knows? You might write me some fan mail. Who knows? We might meet in person. Who knows? We'll fall in love, run away together. Come on, buy my book. Buy my
Are
book.
you
Well, that's
here?
the thing that's also so silly about internet drama. It's just like, it's the freaking internet. And people say stupid shit. I know I said stupid shit many a time on the internet. But then you meet people face to face if they're willing to meet with you. And then you just hang out and you have a drink and you don't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some of the terrible SJWs even could be sort of cool in real life, I dare say, but who knows? But,
Well, I mean,
We're all
I just
people,
like,
you know.
there's people who've been
Yeah.
dicks to me for no reason. I'm just like, hey, I'm going to have a table at the New York Comic Con. I know you're going to be there too. Swing by my table, get free comic books, and then maybe afterwards I can take you out for a pint or two.
Pint of
And we can
cyanide.
do
or something.
bullshit.
yeah.
But they never do it. They never
Yeah.
do.
Because they're cowards.
I'd have a pint with you,
Mhm.
Brian.
Cowards
And
is the
also,
word that
Brian,
always
is that
crosses
like
my
a
mind.
gargoyle? Sorry to interrupt, but like, is
Oh,
that a
yeah.
gargoyle back there?
Yeah, it sure is.
Standing watch.
Nice.
Is it
I'm not done
stone?
decorating just yet, but
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Pretty.
That is
That's
cool.
awesome.
I like
yeah,
it.
I've always had a thing for gargoyles, naturally. Not looking forward to that live action
Oh no, don't, dude.
gargoyles movie.
Why would you go into that? No.
You should put a little.
Oh, yeah.
All the
Batman figure
Speaking of
gargoyles
horror.
will be gay.
And real quick, I
Oh,
don't think
yeah.
people can
Oh,
this.
yeah. Little overlap there. That's some more Monica McCagney art. Nice.
It's beautiful.
Awesome book.
Beautiful. This is also a really good read.
Yeah,
I really
thanks.
thoroughly enjoyed this. Your shit's getting better and better, man. You know, that's the real fun thing too, is just watching everybody leveling up. You know,
Yeah.
that's it's my favorite thing about being part of this scene.
Yeah,
Just
thanks.
watching people getting better and better and better. You know, because it's not like we're gonna rest on our laurels. It's not like, oh, okay, well, the last thing did well. Now I can just shift into neutral and like phone
Yeah.
it in.
Oh my god,
No,
you
it's
can
like
hear
if
like so
anything-
many sirens.
We need to step
Oh,
it
wow.
up.
No, you're right,
Yeah.
Brian, because we all get better and better and better, and then something that someone makes breaks through something one day.
Mm-hmm.
Makes some real waves out there. It's just, I don't know. It's fun to think about. It's exciting.
Someone will
It's
finally
inevitable.
someone
Yeah.
will finally date Taylor Swift and she'll get the Swifties to be our people buying our books.
What if
That's
she
the
finally
path.
finds a man she likes and then like her music dies?
Yeah, yeah. She can't sing anymore about the songs.
Well, look,
About
main thing that we
breaking
need to do, I think, my own personal belief, and I've been saying this for years now, which I need to put my money where my mouth is. We need to start translating our books into other languages. We need to start translating our books into French. We need to start translating them into Spanish. Because
Oh,
we may not
Brian,
be
hit
able to
me
break
up
into
if
the
you want to
American.
do that.
There's
Oh,
like
Crystal
a Steven
knows.
Frasant too, right?
Because there's
Yeah.
a couple guys in CG that actually do it. So, and they have quality work. So hit me up.
I've talked
Oh.
to people about translating Monster MD into Japanese and Russian.
Oh,
Why not?
sweet.
Have you talked to Rusty by chance?
Maybe.
No.
Okay.
Rusty?
I'll send you. Yeah, I'll send you his like Twitter.
Okay.
Cool. As what would we know him for?
Yeah.
He's in CG. He's been here for a while, but
I might.
I'm trying to think what his company is called again here. But he basically lives in Japan, and he's been translating stuff into Japan as well. It's let's see, it's
Shackleford.
WAGA Comics. So it's like comics with like an X at the end.
Okay.
So it's
Yeah.
like WAGA Comics.
Right. Well, look, I mean, because the American comic book industry, they've made it very clear they don't want us. And Americans are eating up comics more than they ever have before. It's all Japanese comics.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And, you know, that
Exactly.
bums me out that it's only Japanese comics that are selling, but at least comic books are selling. So at least you have this generation that's coming up that's familiar with the medium. So at some point, there's a chance that they'll take a look at our stuff, that they'll take a look at the French stuff. Most people that want manga want it specifically because it's Japanese, but there are also people that are going to be like, well, gee, I wonder what Spanish comics are like. I wonder what French comics are like. I wonder what Russian comics are like. It's the same way it's like being a horror movie fan. It's like you find out that there's such a thing as like Filipino horror movies. It's like, well, Brazilian horror movies. Well, gee, what are those like, right? And then you check them out, and you might fall in love.
You know,
Yeah.
my goal is not to impress or get into either what Marvel or DC is doing. My goal as an artist is to do what I want to do based off how it interests me and takes me in a direction I want to go. Yep. So if Marvel or DC offers me a job that would do that, I would say yes. But if it doesn't, I would want to say no. If especially these days with how they edit things, you know what I'm saying? It wouldn't be me. It wouldn't even be me in the end, right?
Yeah,
and trust me, I know what it's like to have your work changed into something completely different.
You know, a couple sort of interesting concepts is we are sort of blessed that from failure because it forced us down this path. Like imagine if you had been successful, then we'd be working at Marvel. We would be those cowardly dudes just writing some dumb book that nobody gives a shit about. So it puts us in a position to do what we're doing now. Yeah,
virtue signaling on Twitter.
Yeah,
you hear stories like where some women were like were strong armed into pretending that they're lesbians, so their books will sell and they'll get more stories. Have you heard those stories? Because they're floating around out there. Like they're trying to be convinced that they're just say you're lesbian, just say you're lesbian, or just say you're bisexual or something like that.
Right. Well, we're seeing more and more agents exposed these days as only wanting to work with lesbians or like people of color or whatever. So it's like they're adapting to the market.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's crazy to think like if I could go back, you know, to my younger self and give myself advice. It's like you know, my younger self would be like, "How do I break into the comic book industry?" I'd be like, "Oh, easy, dude. Start wearing a dress."
Yeah, exactly.
Change your name to Brianna. You're Brianna now.
You'll get whatever you want. You don't have to write where with inequality. You just get jobs, and you'll be unfireable.
Do you guys still dream about breaking in? Or
no,
I don't.
I know. In fact, at this point, I would say that it's a privilege if we work for them. Like if indies work for them, it's like we're doing them the favor at this point.
Yeah. That's the other thing I was going to say. Yeah. This is actually like the Machiavelli's The Prince. There's like some of this kind of stuff in that where like a common strategy is people will hire you as like a form of dominance to kind of hold you down. So like little do they know that we are better than them anyway. So we kind of wouldn't want to work for them at this point, but that could be something that they would do if they're trying to be strategic, you know,
because they hired you, you're subservient to them.
Yeah.
That is a common strategy.
That does not sound fun to me. Yeah. I'm enjoying the freedom. I'm doing what I want to do artistically. It's paying off for me. It's growing something like that's more interesting to me. And the challenges within that more interesting than to me. That doesn't mean I'm closed off. I'd be more interested in like smaller companies calling me that have like a really good story they think I'd be great for than just Marvel or DC. You know what I mean? For me, it's about the awesome artists I'm getting to work with along the way too. I just love that. It's like being in different punk bands, jamming with each other.
Exactly. So it is right now. The indie scene is punk, like especially like the ones that actually acknowledge the culture change and fight against that by acknowledging it and making stories that steer away from there, mock it a little bit. Everyone, I definitely mock it a little bit, of course, but I do. I remember like back in the day when the whole indie scene was rising into what it is now. There was like a whole thing of you'll never work in DC, you'll never work in Marvel, and now I remembered that because recently it's become hilarious because of all the people with talent left and made their own and recently made their own company so they can be free of the shackles of DC and Marvel.
Yeah,
So,
who's even left at this point?
Who even wants to work at DC and Marvel anymore? No one. They left.
Yeah.
They walked
can
away.
you imagine? It's like Vaughn was talking about this, about the self-censorship that would be going on in your head. How like every step that you take, every sentence that you write, you'd be thinking, oh, well, I need do I have to be worried about this? Could this be misinterpreted?
I'm offending like 28 different genders here.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just like, who needs that baggage in the back of your head? We should just be able to tell the stories that we want, and when people are going to connect with it, then they connect with it. If they don't, they don't. It's really that simple.
And Brian, look what you
Thanks,
and I are doing.
Alex.
Think about this in terms of music. Like I took Black Terror old school jam. You took Six Gun Gorilla old school jam. We reinvented them in a way that like turned them into these great stories for a new era while still kind of remaining true to the fun and the essence that made them great in the beginning. A lot of punk bands did that back in the day. They were like covering different like 50s style songs. You hear Ramones doing like California Sun, things like, you know what I mean? They're reminding us of like the simplicity and the fun of old times, but like reinventing it in a fun new kind of like screw the establishment way. This is awesome.
Sex Pistols were like that too, yeah. Very much so. You know, I mean, you listen to that the only real Sex Pistols record, and you're just like, you're kind of surprised at how old fashioned it really is.
Right.
And yeah, I think that there's something old fashioned about the way we roll, but at the same time, you know, we're doing stuff that's still contemporary. It may be a little old fashioned, but it's also modern. Which is to say
back
that
the classics.
we're bringing the complexity. Well, I don't want to say complexity, but you know, the standards of comic books, you know, I think really reached their peak. Just the general level of quality of the writing and the art, I think it peaked maybe around like 2008 or so.
Yeah.
And then of course went down. You know, in the 70s, in the 80s, and in the 90s to a large degree, you had so many people that were making bad or boring comic books because the genres were very incestuous. That's to say the people making comics were people that were just reading comics. And that's all that they were into. So a lot of the stuff is getting regurgitated, recycled. We're bringing in something fresh. And, you know, I come from a punk rock background too, very into the DIY thing. And, you know, young punk rock me, like from like 30 years ago would be a little disappointed in the current me because I'm so positive. Right.
Yeah.
but otherwise, it's just like, yeah, I mean, we're doing it. And once again, it's just like, I'm just, you know, I'm grateful to be part of this thing. And we're all, I think, grateful and excited. I can't wait for 2024, man. You know,
Brian's
got
got the skinhead thing going as far as punk rock.
Rompa Stompa. Man, I'm just trying to imagine a negative Brian Christgau, man. What's that like?
Yeah.
I'm
Like
the Tony
eyeliner
Robbins
at the
CD.
food court at the mall going, no, you're wrong.
He'd be clean shaved because you know the positive one has the goatee. You know?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh God, I used to be such a negative motherfucker too. That's the
Me
thing,
too.
man.
Me too, Brian. You really have to fight to and like train yourself to not be and get out of that type of
Yeah,
Like,
just
rewire
hit rock
yourself.
bottom and bounce off the bottom. So just
It's tough.
deliberately become a piece of shit and then like
Yeah.
work
Touch
from
the bottom and see if you can make it back up, kids.
yeah. That's my advice to everyone.
of the abyss. Touch the bottom of the abyss.
Hey, look at it. We got a backer. Sweet. That's the
Thank
first one.
you.
So every
Awesome.
time, I was going to say, every time, chat, you should know this, every time I update it and it doesn't go up, somewhere in the world, a puppy dies. So we
Oh,
really
no.
have to keep
God.
that
Oh,
going.
annoying.
And I'm holding you guys hostage. I'll be updating it every 5 minutes from now on. So make sure we get one backer every 5 minutes.
If any of my
I had
pets
a-
die during this stream, that's going to be really
No.
upsetting.
Yeah. I had Matt Fowler on like a week ago doing Tiger Blue 3, and I was begging the chat on his behalf. I'm like, chat, I beg you. I literally am on my knees begging you to back this book. And he's like, I'm not begging. I'm honestly offering
I'm
a
cool.
good book. Yeah, he's like, it's a good book. You can just back it and read it. It's a good book. I'm like, but I'm begging. He's not begging, but I am.
I beg
Someone's
you.
got to beg.
I have no shame.
Yeah.
That's good. That's
Come on,
you
my-
going to you're going to on your knees for your buddies, okay?
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
I'm
Take that however you want. Take that
The
wherever and however you
Crystal's
want.
got an ear for that
That
stuff. She catches it early.
context.
Yeah. Phrasing.
Also, think about like the spirit of camaraderie that we have. And you look at the mainstream and they've got whisper networks and they're all trying to take each other out and stab each other in the back.
Well, we have some of that too, unfortunately. But yeah.
We do. Oh, yeah, no
Yeah.
shit. I speak from experience, yeah.
It's always
we do
everywhere.
have whisper networks.
Yeah,
and
I've tried to
backstabbers.
like knife all of you at one point. I think.
Every once in a while, someone goes in and
Just
says,
keep you on
know,
your toes.
I want more, and I know I shouldn't.
yeah.
Every once in a while, there's always an Anakin that pops up, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Right, but for
Yeah.
the most part, we're all rooting for each other.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I just think about like what it must be like, like Scott Snyder when he found out like on a Thursday that they were gonna hit him, that they were gonna cancel him, and so I think that story broke. I think a bleeding fool on a Thursday about the Whisper Network, and then on Monday he resigned from DC before they could cancel him.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scott Snyder kind of dodged a little bit of a bullet. He never got the full on bullshit
No.
or participated that much in any bullshit, really. He was always kind of
Yeah.
just.
And he's
flying
doing
under the
indie
radar.
shit now.
Yeah.
Smart move.
Yeah. He
Snyder's
yeah, he
new
kind of.
Netflix
I don't
Star
got
Wars
no beef
story
with
is
him.
about to come out, right?
Night of the Ghoul, that's a great horror comic
Yeah.
that he did. That was, I think,
Oh.
Comixology first, I think.
Mhm.
in,
Yeah.
like,
I believe
But-
so.
Awesome.
Oh, you know what's interesting about that though? Because he was the tippy top of DC
Oh,
Comics.
Scott.
And,
Yup.
and so then he did kind of like fall from that, even if it's by his own hand in order to dodge the
How
bullshit.
did he did Nocturna, right?
Maybe.
It's not Scott Snyder.
Yeah. That,
It's a crowdfunded one he did recently, I think.
I think so.
yeah. Is he still crowdfunding? I wonder how.
I
what kind
was
of
just
numbers
wondering how
he's
it
doing.
did. Yeah, I was curious.
Yeah, because I haven't even seen like when the mainstream crowdfunds, I don't see it except for Sean Gordon Murphy for some reason hit our radar real hard.
Yeah, sometimes I think about that. Like, I don't see things, but does that necessarily mean it's not out there and just in like different social spheres that I'm not privy to because everyone has me blocked on Twitter? for
Yeah,
being a bad
because I don't even really
You
see
know?
Brian. Yeah, I don't even see Brian Polito, and he is like friendly and kind of the CG model ish. He's pre CG, but he's like
He
a cool
made
indie
himself. Yeah, he's cool.
guy. Yeah.
By the way, speaking of odd horror movies, did you ever see the movie Green Room?
Yeah, I love
Yes.
that movie.
I thought that was that's an
Excellent.
interesting. That was scary because it felt like it could actually happen. Because
Yeah,
there's no
yeah.
monsters in there. It's just you're just a band running around and doing indie shows, and all of a sudden you're locked in with a bunch of murdering racists.
Yeah. That had the thing where the first guy like he escapes kind of really easily and he like crawls out a doggy door or a window or something, but then a dog is on the other side and kills him in one
Yeah, they're
bite.
ready
And
for
I
him
was
to
like,
stab him to
"What?"
death.
Yeah, I was
That's
like, "Holy
really
shit."
good. Check out that director's first movie, Blue Ruin,
Yeah,
which is kind of like a kind of almost like a Sam Peckinpah movie. But yeah, no, that guy's really, really good.
yeah, that movie's interesting and cool too. But yeah, and the dude who's a star in Green Room. He died in
Mm-hmm.
real life. He so kind of weirdly, sadly, but he like
Oh.
he was
Like a
working on his.
malfunction with his Jeep. I
Yeah,
believe
he was
they
like.
recalled it not too long before the accident happened. Yeah, like they'd roll backwards.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, he was under it for some reason. He was working on it. I don't know, but it rolled over
Oh my
and
god.
he died.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Is that what
So he's
happened to
dead.
that guy that played Chekhov in the new Star Trek? That young guy.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
same guy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's the same death you're talking. That's the
Yeah.
actor? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Russian actor. I think
Yeah.
he was.
What's-
that was sad, dude.
What's his
Yeah,
name?
He actually got pinned by it up against like his mailbox or something. His
Oh.
stone wall or
Oh, way to
mailbox.
go.
He got
And it's
crushed
so
by his own
sad because
vehicle.
TMZ was like right there taking pictures of his body, like the little
Oh.
pests they are.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's sitting there
Anton
looking at his
Yelchin.
new car in front of his mansion, like, "Yep, starring in a movie, another movie soon. I'm hot. Life's going great."
Yeah.
Then the Jeep kills you.
Any of us
Yeah.
can go at any
Man,
time.
what the
man.
hell?
Yeah, your
the
last
hell?
thought would be bullshit. And then you die.
Yeah, this is some bullshit.
So sad.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, well, I mean,
guys.
that's why when things
But-
like start to go too well in my life, I start to like look around for that freight train.
Over your shoulder a little bit.
Yeah.
Things are a little too quiet right now.
A little suspicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just wait. Some shit's gonna hit you at some point. It's the human experience, no doubt.
Yeah,
no doubt.
man.
But and just like for Black Terror, he thinks he's like a sweet little pharmacist in New York, and then like freaking super Nazis from his past come back to blow up everything
Yeah.
at once,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how it starts. So
Yeah.
Time to see if a
Look, he got
puppy
something
lives
for
or
the
dies. Puppy live or die. What's it gonna be?
Oh no.
Oh, chat! You just killed a puppy.
Yeah, seriously,
My
people,
dog's on
go
the
check this out. Back this book. I recommend it. I think most of the people who have read it have loved it. And shit, I'm looking forward to more. Vaughn, are you going to do a follow up to this next? Are you going to do a follow up to, you've got Psycho Killers, of course, which you're doing with Adam. Like, what is next for you, sir? What is the next iron that you got in the fire?
we have Kataru Witch Hunter, this witchy season, to a book I did some years ago, that the one Narwhal was talking about that he read when we started getting to know each other. I did this book just before Monster MD, and it was okay, and I never planned to release it, but I showed it to a few people, and they were like, it's actually pretty good. I would buy a printed version of this. So I ended up like rewriting or redoing all the lettering and making it like as pro as can be, and I like it so much more. It's totally ready for publishing. I'm loving it. So we're doing it. We're doing Kataru Witch Hunter. It's going to be an amazing campaign with some other cool treats, but it's a very simple campaign because it's just all different cool books to choose from. You can pick up some of my old books too if you missed them.
Oh, nice. Yeah, like a catch
So,
up kind of thing. And
It's a cool kind of ninja action detective story. And then I have Trenches 2 coming up. So.
And aren't you the artist for Witch Hunter too? Is that true?
I just inked it. I inked it and lettered it and helped
Okay.
with the colors.
I got
and
a
stuff.
PDF of that. I think of like the original version from like back in the Disney, I think.
Yeah.
That's you prepare for the new version, man, and
Nice.
New and improved. And oh god, I love it. I love it so much better now. It's looking better. It's looking pro. It's feeling good. And I don't know. It's going to be a fun little simple kind of quicker campaign that I want to fulfill, and then I want to launch Trenches 2 soon after. So it's going to be a fast campaign for that one. I don't expect to make as much, but I don't care. I'm just having fun, putting out another cool book, adding to my library, hopefully finding new fans, and old fans will come back, give this one a shot. I think you guys are going to dig it. It's a one-and-done story. Book's already done, so quick as hell campaign.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, what else can I say about it? I mean, I love the character of Kataru. He's detective / like samurai badass. It's kind of feudal Japan with this creepy witches that he has to track down and then fight in these amazing battles. It's funny, it's horrific, it's action, it's mysterious, it's mystery or murder mystery story. So check it out, sign up. You get a free trading card when you do. And other than that, I mean, it's very Vaughn. It's got all the elements, but it's kind of more, a a little more manga, a little more samurai, a little more Lone Wolf and Cub, a little more Blade of the Immortal, a little more Ninja Scroll Vaughn, if you will.
Yeah.
With a little British mystery tossed in there, because I was like really watching that a lot back then. Which is kind of weird, but I thought that was fun. I thought it'd be cool to mix in two weird elements together and see what we can make it kind of interesting, make a more interesting character and story. So that's where.
Speaking of doing like that idea where you just take a couple of ideas and put together, see what you can do. I saw that that list of no-nos and yeses from that one literary agent who's like, oh yeah, we need BIPOC vampires and no white people. So I thought it would be kind of fun to take some of those elements and try to see what you can come up with.
Yeah,
like in a parody comic.
That would be hilarious.
But use it for like make a good story out of it somehow. There's like oh yeah, BIPOC vampires and all this stuff like that. And
that'd be a cool challenge for different writers to do.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, that was like Hitchcock with Psycho. He was like, there were all these low budget horror movies coming out, and he was like, wow, it's like, if I did one of those, I bet I could do one and actually make it like good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, hey,
give it some gravitas. Give it some.
Yes.
Yeah. I kind of want to see if I can find that list. Maybe we'll look at it. But
we could all assign different things to people, and we all have to come back with a pitch later.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Hey, LitDev, look what I found here on Amazon.
Excellent point.
Oh, yeah.
Some Dr. Alpha. What is, LitDev, do you have an open campaign crowdfunding in demand or anything? Right
technically, I still have Dr. Alpha Dead Man's Alibi Volume 1 still in Indiegogo. It's almost done. Like I got it done lettering. It's I see it change it. Sorry about that. I just need to send it to the editor and make the print file, and then it's off to print. It's almost done. Like it's all colored, and we're just kind of fixing up the final lettering on it, and then it's off to print.
Nice. So you're getting close to maybe like launching a new book. Do you have any irons in the fire, or what's the next book from you?
Well, one is Volume 2 for Dead Man's Alibi, which will finish off the storyline, and then also I've been working on Lady Midnight for the past couple of years, and it's almost done. Like I'm almost ready to go through with the first story. They got tons of stories in there, but that one is kind of like Constantine, but where she's like a supernatural detective, used to be a witch, but now is trying to redeem herself by solving these supernatural crimes around this city full of supernatural nonsense. And it's more drama, and I spent so much time on it because I wanted to make it a hard magical system, and so that it's kind of like if you've ever seen Death Note, one of the tension elements of Death Note is the rules of the Death Note.
Yeah,
where it's like what's going to happen, you know what the capabilities are of the Death Note, things like that. So I wanted to do that with this and trying to make the rules of it, why and how magic works. So we can get that supernatural tension elements in the detective stories or the mystery stories, things like that. Like one of the stories I thought of was it was modeled after Perfume, Story of a Murderer. Have you ever seen that one or read that one? Yeah, it's he kills all these women to make this awesome perfume that controls people. Well, I thought it'd be kind of interesting to have one where it's the enemy, the criminal's an artist, and he captures these horrific emotions in these paintings to figure out the ultimate emotion. You get like severe depression, ultimate joy, ultimate anger, all the basic emotions and captured in paintings, and then via necromancy, and then combine them together and see what you come up with, see what happens, because no one's ever explored that before. So that would be like his ultimate ideal we're striving for. So it'd be like Seven, the movie Seven, combined with Perfume.
Like a mad scientist almost, or alchemist or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Yeah, that all sounds sweet. So we'll stream for like another at least half hour. I want to kind of shout out everyone's books too, so we'll be checking in on some of this stuff. But my book too, Hotel Story. Everyone keep an eye out for this one. Back it if you haven't, if you're thinking about it. But the book of the hour and of the evening is Terror in the Trenches. Should I kill another puppy? We'll wait a little bit and then I'll chat. You better save
it. Save the puppies. No, we'll save the puppies for now.
Chat. How dare you? Chat.
What else could I say to sell people this book, Narwhal? I mean, I've been selling it for a while now.
I know. It's an interesting question sometimes, but I don't know if this even works. But it's like, so we got 34 people watching. Are there anyone who hasn't backed it yet and you're thinking about it? And is there something Vaughn could say that would make you want to back it? We're curious about that kind of
Anything
data
I can
too.
say or
So-
sing? What do you
Yeah,
need?
yeah.
I
Do
love
you need Vaughn to
You're
get
gonna-
to whisper sweet nothings in your ear?
I just feel like a lot of people have already backed it. That's what I feel like. I feel like a lot of them have already backed and got it, and hopefully they're enjoying the hell out of it. Because you got
Yeah.
2 more of these coming. It's going to be a sweet trilogy. And I kind of want to do a box for the 3rd campaign, where you can, a nice little slip box to slide them into.
nice.
That would be cool.
Do you guys know what I could search for to find this submission thing that was so funny? I tried agent submission on Twitter, just a bunch of random stuff. I'm trying
It's crazy.
think
out
I-
there.
Like the
I
literature
think
one
I
that was going around on Twitter.
I think
Yeah.
I retweeted it. All of
Oh,
us
for the
did.
YA.
I
Yeah.
don't think it's even just her. Like, it's like most of these literary agents.
It's dude,
Right.
so
It's
many.
an epidemic.
It's like
a-
they're not
Yeah.
don't even know that they're becoming obsolete. Like the literary agent is
mean.
becoming way obsolete, and they're becoming more restrictive. Like, right, we won't publish you unless you meet all these weird political
They-
alignments or whatever.
Yeah. I found it. Okay.
Oh, you
maybe
got-
I
you
guess
got
I
it?
maybe I can share with you. Let's see.
Yes, dude. It's so
Yeah.
good. And it's sad because a lot of the stuff that you see, like with these literary agents and stuff, like the film industry is like so like just filled with people like this putting up crazy recommendations for scripts. Because I was a script reader for a time, like when I got right out of college.
Mhm.
And the requirements that some of these productions would give, it's like we need to have this or we need to have that, and it's so ridiculous, dude. Like
Right.
it's like they need to be this type, we need like XYZ, this many gay people in it, and it's
Yeah.
just absolutely
They-
ridiculous.
They have decided to terraform
Mhm.
our entertainment, and this
Yeah.
is part of it.
That's a
Yeah.
good way to describe
No,
it.
I can't believe I was laughing pretty hard because it says, "Please do not send," and it's blah blah
Yeah.
blah blah blah. Literary fiction, like
Boom. Yeah.
it's
Gotcha.
Propaganda.
What do they consider literary fiction? Like, is it all books or?
Yeah. I'm like just all the
Yeah.
classics. Don't send anything that could be later considered a classic if it could be.
Don't
Don't say anything too intelligent or smart.
yeah, yeah,
We want your most mediocre work.
yeah.
That's what sells is mediocrity.
notice propaganda.
I know
Like,
that-
nothing.
Oh,
else
yeah.
pops.
that right away. Yeah.
So they don't like
Yeah.
propaganda or military science fiction. So like they're really like they consider cops
cut
and
out
military
so
right
much.
wing. So
Yeah.
And no Starship Troopers.
No.
even though Starship Troopers is awesome,
Yeah, and
Well,
also
that was a novel,
it's
yeah.
even funny. It's even funny that it says novelizations of your tabletop campaign. She would only put that if she's getting too much of that. She's like, "Shit,
it's weird to say that though
I
because it's
have
like
no clue who would be sending that. Like honestly,
it's actually pretty. It's actually pretty.
It's
a
more
lot of
common
tabletop
than
people.
you would expect.
Yeah, people love doing that. But the thing is, she says
Are
this
they,
here,
though?
and then
That's
later on in the
wild.
other sections, she's like, they want references to it though. They want references and Easter eggs to tabletop gaming for some reason.
yeah."
Oh,
Maddox says, "Challenge
wow.
CG make a book that does all of this."
All of it at
But
once.
or
like
and
a
even
comedy.
yeah, or like trying to do the stuff she wants is hilarious too.
Like, I
It's
could
super
do
Do
a
I
dark
move to the next
comedy
slide?
on
Or
Yeah,
are we
Next
still on
slide.
this next slide, please? All right, here we go. Her favorite traits and tropes include found family.
pro tags that are too smart for their own
Smart for
good.
their own good.
How much of that is in Marvel? She's the smartest
a lot of
person in
dude
Marvel.
right
They
now.
want-
like
they want
a
Mary
lot
Sue.
of this.
Like,
You know her.
we want characters whose flaws is that she's too smart and too beautiful and too awesome.
Yeah, she's never wrong.
I hate being too
Yeah.
good.
And don't
What does
forget the
BIPOC stand
coffee
for?
shop scene. We need
Yeah.
coffee shops.
We need scenes where they're eating. I like the non-white power couples
Yeah,
and non-white love interests.
dude.
And it's always just a white chick with a black guy. It's never like any other races mixed in there, like in
I
any
know,
real
dude.
way, in any meaningful way. It's always
There's
just the same.
the
color.
disguise fetish. I like friendship is magic in there. Like just straight up, like we just want My Little Pony fanfic.
Yeah, dude. I was just about
Yeah.
to say that.
This is like
Yeah.
what children like. This is what weird children like.
But it's like
Well, it's just
psychopath
like,
stuff.
Then it's the
Yeah.
lingo, right? You
Then
have
it
to
turns
like
into
translate the lingo if you're not familiar with it. And I'm like,
Slow burn.
I don't know what BIPOC means, and what's a cinnamon roll?
Okay,
exactly?
I didn't know this either, but the cinnamon roll is apparently like a really good moral character, like basically just a Christian conservative character, like old school, like very kind, very empathetic, but very kind of weak and
shucks.
vulnerable.
So they hate him, in other words.
This is why I think it's
Yeah.
psychopath stuff, because he loved the idea of the evil lesbian villain corrupting the cinnamon roll character, be making her evil. and
Oh,
They like that.
Yeah.
They think
Turning
the
them
good
gay.
guys are the ones that are corrupting the cinnamon roll types.
yeah. This one's catching my eye too. It says non-binary main characters tasting power and choosing chaos.
And choosing chaos. Oh yeah,
That's telling.
What a great hero! What a
So
great hero!
specific.
Okay,
That's
well, I
kinda
call
like a
I call
villain.
heists for mine. I'm doing heists because
Yeah, the one.
Call heists.
the one normal one.
I'm making heat.
What
I
is
like-
sapphic? Do you guys know that?
I have no idea
No.
what that is. These are
Lesbian.
strange lingo terms.
Yeah.
I like the stories about embracing your identity.
Sounds fetishy.
Stories that center BIPOC and queer happiness.
Weird
know-
happiness.
Yeah. And even enemies to lovers, you know what that is? That's like that joke where the two people, they start fighting and then they stare at each other and then they start making out.
Yeah, they love that.
But
They
isn't
would
it
love
interesting? Isn't it interesting also how like you look at their comics that they're writing, like in the mainstream, and you can see that they don't know how to write heroes. That when they try to write heroes, that they end up turning them into like sociopaths because basically the people, I guess, who are writing them are sociopaths or have
Well,
sociopathic tendencies.
Power trip.
And
Yeah.
wow, this is right there.
So, guys, I looked up sapphic, and apparently it's like a relating to sexual attraction or activity between two women. And then
Yeah.
in context, the two women share a sapphic kiss in the play.
Oh,
Right, but that's
Oh.
a real
That's
word.
just like,
right?
I just call that les it out.
yeah, I was just gonna say that's just like lesbian.
Yeah.
That's a real
It's
word.
real.
Like,
Just-
stop just
They
making
could have
shit
just
up.
put that there. Like, I guess this is kind of like a. I don't know if this. Where does this originate from?
She just wants to make.
I need
She just
to
wants
know.
books that are for her. Like she doesn't really want books to sell.
Yeah, there it is.
Yes, that's
what's-
part of the. This
Yup.
is terraforming. That's part of the.
Yeah.
You know?
Sapphic. What a sapphic kiss. No one says that.
Okay, I don't know what this. What's grump and
Honestly, I
sunshine?
haven't heard of it. Until
What are these terms? Grump and sunshine / stabby and cinnamon roll pairings. What the hell does that mean?
So
I know.
it's like ship stuff.
I know
so
what cinnamon
it's-
roll is.
Oh.
Odd couples. It's odd couples.
Yeah.
Right.
Sunshine.
Yeah.
and
But it's the
stabby.
odd couple she prefers.
I call that one. I call the. I've made my story called Sunshine and Stabby. That's what I call that.
I would read that. I'd read the hell.
Well, also, it's like you look at this and you think to yourself, like, oh, like this is why also so much contemporary mainstream comics read like
Mhm.
fan fiction.
Because a
Yeah.
lot of it is
It
fanfic
is.
writers, dude.
There's been this attitude with the activist minded of when we get in there, it's our turn. It's
Right.
revenge. You oppressed us. Now we hold the wheel. It's all, and we're gonna terraform it into just what we like. And they're the most, and they ushered in a new era of discrimination. They proved that they're just as bad as what they claim to be fighting. Of
Mhm.
course, we all know
They've
this.
become the enemy.
Yep.
Mhm. And
Right.
look at these horrible tropes that she prefers. I mean, it's just, it's like
horrific, dude.
it's almost like stuff from fan fiction more than like
It is.
real deal fiction.
Oh yeah, totally.
That's what I see when I look at this. It's just like, oh
Yeah.
man, this is like a fan fiction thing.
Right. Interesting. Maybe the next slide. We feeling it?
It's actually technically worse than fan fiction because usually back in the day when they had those fanzines, which is where Mary Sue came from, they actually
Right.
used to have standards for fan fiction.
Oh,
Yeah, believe it or not.
They used to have
Believe it or
standards for it.
Wild West, baby. Care's hobbies, background, identity deeply inform what they love. Some examples of how this influences their taste include work that burns down the patriarchy and or destroys colonizers.
I can't believe they actually said that up front. I'm just like, you know what?
But
Screw
it gets me because at one point, like, people were always conquering other people. Like, at this point, it's just like, guys, shake hands and ignore. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's just like we pay taxes. You know.
Yeah.
It's changed. We're conquered in a different way. Contains D&D or other TTRPG Easter eggs, tee or inside jokes for games like Hades, Devil May Cry, or
there it is.
Final Fantasy.
There it is. So she says like no campaigns, no novelization to campaigns, but we want D&D RPG stuff.
Dude, but like
Yeah.
I guess she doesn't want it all to be D&D. It just has to be like an Easter egg.
I'm betting
Yeah.
it's like 5e
That's
because
so weird.
the other versions of D&D are all about slaying monsters, getting treasure, and exploring dungeons. And 5e is more about gay sex.
Because it's like, and you're like
You used to
Dungeons and
invade
Dragons
dungeons. Now
used
you
to
invade
be
men.
Fun. And
Invade
it's
men.
like now there's like clerics in wheelchairs, like really dumb, mind-numbing stuff. It
I
is just
know.
painful.
Oh,
It's like
yeah.
don't
Wheelchairs,
ignore
the
all the
wheelchairs.
versions. Go
Okay,
back
so
to like
does that mean that now
3.
the dungeons, which are like created by evil wizards generally, are they
They're,
wheelchair
like,
accessible? Or are they putting
yes.
in
Wait,
ramps?
did you see they're actually making those? Did you see that they're
Yes.
actually making wheelchair
Yes.
miniatures
Yes.
for 5e?
Yeah.
There's
There's like wheelchair-bound
ramps.
cleric and stuff like that.
Yes.
Dude, that is
Mhm.
such
You could buy
like,
one.
garbage and drivel. They need to throw that away. There's
I
no
know.
wheelchair.
And you know the
there's
people in
no
wheelchairs
wheelchair
aren't playing them.
accessible dungeons, dude. And if you're a
No.
cleric, you could heal yourself. There's no reason for that chair. Like, get out of here.
Like, how
I
mean is
don't
your guy?
understand,
Just
But
curious.
it's
That's
like
true.
role-playing games where people are playing like idealized versions of themselves. It's just like, I don't want to be like me. I want to have a full head of hair like Fabio and a physique. They want to be a barbarian, you know? And I don't
You
want
want
to
to have
be this.
fun, dude.
Yes.
I want to.
like,
I want to be in a
Forget
wheelchair.
what's going on.
I want to be in a battle wheelchair with gadgets and spikes.
Well,
and
dude, then you would
razors
have a
and shit on it.
Gundam. Like, at least come up with like,
Yes.
you know,
I
like
would. Yeah.
we can
I-
throw out the wheelchairs and just have mechs. Wouldn't you
Yeah,
rather
yeah.
in a mech
yeah.
than
No, I
That's
think
funny.
I think
fantasy
people would
wheelchair?
write more songs of my exploits and valor if I did it in a chair. So
Yeah,
sorry.
they want to
Just
put
gonna have to
put
deal with it.
mechs in wheelchairs. They're like this mech's legs don't work
I'm
anymore, so we
just
made a
sit
mech
down.
wheelchair.
You guys just keep going down the stairs. I'm coming.
Yeah,
I'm coming.
It's like
I'll
that
hold up
clip-
the back. I'll hold up the back.
yeah.
That would be a really hilarious campaign. You like sue the dungeon, the guy who owns the dungeon because it's not wheelchair accessible. What's the guy's
It's like-
name? Like a zero. What's his name?
Like a lich at the end of the
Yeah,
dungeon.
the
you sue
guy
him.
you fight in the Tomb of Horrors, like the guy who owns that dungeon, you sue him because
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
wheelchair.
It's like that scene in Helm's
No
Deep where
wheelchair
they're
ramp,
jumping between pillars as they're collapsing and running upstairs. You're just like, whoa! Mac and me, you just roll off the edge.
Oh.
Gandalf jumps after you, and he comes back, Gandalf the White. He saved the wheelchair kid. I don't know.
Dude.
It's like these people, they have a real problem with fantasy. Have you noticed that?
Mhm.
And they
Yeah,
feel this
yeah.
need
They're too
to
busy
bring
living
in
out
the
their
real
fantasy.
world into the fantasy world.
Mhm.
It's the same way. It's just like, you know, you look at like comic book art of whenever I see somebody like Preston Acevedo, for instance, drawing like a really hot looking woman, I'm like, don't you realize that like women in fantasy art are supposed to look realistic? Right?
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
standard
That's what
now.
I dream about all day.
Where
the
are her
realism.
But Big
organs?
Barda, right? Big Barda, who was like this 7 foot tall, super hot glamazon, now is Big Barda. Now she's like 300 pounds. I'm just like,
Yeah.
They're trying to make
Oh.
themselves feel prettier by ruining what men love and other women
Right.
Yeah.
characters, female characters.
and it's
The
just like
male
the-
gaze is a
And like, well,
problem.
look at the guys. It's like I grew up
Male
reading
gaze is
comic books,
awesome.
and the guys are all fucking ripped and shit. It's just like the guys don't look like they're real. So it's right.
Have these
it's just
people ever
it's
seen a
insane.
Renaissance painting? Like idealizing the human form itself is an art. It is
Yes,
not a. It's not just
100%.
for. It's not just for sex. They weren't painting
No,
those,
and it's
and they weren't.
fantasy.
They weren't
I'm
painting those for
saying.
sex. They were painting those to show the humanity at its best, to give us aspirations. They don't like aspirations. That makes them uncomfortable. They're already great. Remember, that's
Dude,
how their
if
whole
they,
world
world
is.
had, they don't want to work for it.
There it is.
These lazy, like, just couch, like, they're just sitting in their couch, fat, overweight, and they're feeling sad. And then they're like, let me make everybody else sad and pathetic.
right.
This
Right,
is
because
healthy.
and they're
It's like,
doing
no,
that because they
it's
were told
not.
to. They were told to
Mhm.
live that way. They don't have to. You know, they've been.
Right.
tricked
You know,
by
you
it.
can go to the gym too. You know, you can take a walk. You can, you know, get some air, do something. You know?
Yeah.
Touch some grass, you know. Roll
Yeah,
some
touch
grass.
grass.
A fruit cup, some push-ups, whatever, girl, whatever you need. Just get yourself out of the house and stop
You
trying
know,
to live on
take
a
a
fantasy
little
on the
bread
internet.
out of your
you know?
diet.
My favorite part of this is that have
Yeah,
the
take out
political
alcohol.
complexity, have the political complexity and ethical realities of
Yeah.
Gundam.
Mhm.
Do you
Yeah.
can you imagine them having like a SJW writer writing something like as complex as Gundam? Like
They'd
they have no
explode,
idea what that is.
They can't. They
Yeah.
explode.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
know-
They would
know you're-
call
It's a
you a
contradiction.
fascist. You give them the Gundam script with a different title, they'd be like, "You're a fascist. Thank you for your
Yeah.
like."
Pretty much.
Right,
It's
right,
like,
right.
If you put original Gundam, Mobile Suit Gundam in the hands of an SJW, Zeon, all of Zeon would just be Nazis. This all be evil Nazis. There would not be Shar Aznable. There would not
Right.
be any nuances with the soldiers. They would all
Right.
just be evil Nazis, and all the Earth people would just be goody two shoes Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, they're really
So
pissed
boring.
about
Diverse-
Attack on
diverse
Titan
crew.
too, aren't they? Like
that
that's
is-
like
I mean, they already were diverse group.
They them Scouts.
Yeah. Oh man, she does not want any of that. She does not. She's just pretending she's politically complex. And also the emotional resonance of games like Grease or Old Man's Journey. Do you guys know these games? Because I don't.
no.
No one knows.
I
these
think
games.
I think it's a video game. I think so. She's talking about video games. I think.
Are these like indie games? You know, like Depression Quest?
I think so.
Like Zoe Quinn or
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that?
Depression quest.
Depression
Yeah.
Quest.
The OG game that started. it
Like,
all,
how
you know?
sad are you that you're making a game called Depression Quest?
Yeah.
Like, maybe you should like seek some help.
You
go
know what I
see a
love about that
therapist.
game, though? You know what I love about that? It's not even. It's barely even really a game, right? You just click like a kind of a choose your own adventure story.
Yeah.
But at the end, there's no end. It leads nowhere, so you're still a depressed piece of crap by the end.
So,
of the game.
dude,
Yeah.
I just checked. Old
actually played
Man's
this?
Journey. Old Man's Journey is like an app store game.
I think I did play it.
It's
Oh,
also
Man's-
like
okay.
available on Steam too.
Okay.
okay. I'm curious about it now.
It kind of looks like a cute little artsy game though.
It might be.
it might
I
be-
would assume that these are
It might
indie
be good
artsy
like
games.
Gundam. is
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, that's my
And,
guess.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm kind of surprised
Yeah,
they didn't
one
mention
more.
like Undertale or something or
Yeah,
Homestuck.
dude, that would have been like, well,
I
that would
was
have been too obvious though.
What-
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
no.
that
I-
one
I'll
game
get
with the lesbians?
exposed.
Oh no, sapphic
Life
power
is,
couples.
Life is strange. Is that-
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
they
yeah.
did mention this one. I think they mentioned Life is Strange, but look at the sapphic power couple.
Oh, did they?
Korra
Yeah.
and Asami. Of
Yeah.
course.
Oh my
course.
god, that was I had never seen anything like that happen on television
Last
before.
minute gay, dude. Last minute.
Last
gay.
minute
That,
gay.
it's,
Yeah.
it's called Last Minute Lesbians, and
Right.
Yeah.
it actually happens in another show I like called Once Upon a Time, where Ruby, who is like a Little Red Riding Hood, she loves men the entire show until she's suddenly a lesbian for Dorothy. From Wizard
Yeah.
of Oz.
Dev, didn't you have a tweet that went super viral about that? I think it was you.
It's possible. I had a couple of those, where especially where Twitter gets angry at them, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's what, and then it just goes insane or whatever. But yeah, it's last minute lesbians. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
They really
Last
do.
minute-
They get their talons in some shit. And mess it up.
I know
That's
I'm
a
jumping
title.
ahead here.
That's a
Dark academia, but replace academia with esports or tabletop games.
Why even say
So-
Dark Academia then? Just say
so,
Dark
like-
Esports? I guess Dark Esports. I don't know what that even means.
What? Is that
Like,
written here
even
somewhere?
do that.
Esports?
Yeah.
Yeah, look, it says with esports or tabletop gaming. So Dark
Like,
Esports.
how would you do that, dude? Like a
What does
dark
that even
esports
mean?
academy?
I don't know.
Like this
It
is
means-
an anime?
It means
Dark- Hey,
awesome
guys.
games done quick.
I can't believe we're so used to seeing this all the time. We all just completely skipped over the kink and polypositive work.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, that's
Yeah.
a given.
That's
I
just standard. This is just standard. You're right.
standard
You're right.
play.
You're right. But I just think that's funny that we did that.
You know what's more cringe than that? A book that feels like Poker Face or Knives Out. I mean,
yeah,
come
that
on.
cringes me out. I get
Oh,
a
no.
chill
Yeah.
on my spine from the cringe of that.
Oh, there's my favorite one though. BIPOC vampires. There it is.
BIPOC vampires.
It's like
Yeah, yeah.
YA protagonist.
BIPOC
BIPOC vampires.
I'm here for the
all-
BIPOC
all
vampire
vampires.
auditions.
Talking about like this whole like people of color vampires thing. Like, have you guys seen the latest Castlevania on Netflix?
I
Haven't seen it.
No, it's not out
First
yet.
So
two
bad,
eps.
dude.
First
It's
two
so
eps.
bad.
Is all I can get through.
Like they
Is it-
race swap so many characters, it's not even funny. And then
Like even
they-
from their
they-
other
Yeah.
season.
franchises.
Oh wow.
From
Yes,
the, it's
and
from
like-
their games. It's from
Yeah.
the games,
I'm
and
guessing
like
Warren
they
Ellis didn't
added
write
in
this
like
new one.
some new characters, and there's this like black chick vampire she's completely out of place. She looks so modern.
She
It's
does.
absolutely atrocious and ridiculous.
Does she have a
Yeah.
woke hairdo?
Yeah, dude. Yes. Yeah.
Is it
She
who
looks
writes
like
it now?
she's in a
'Cause-
sexploitation film, dude.
oh
like,
yeah, does
it's
she have the
not
side of her
even
head
funny.
shaved or anything
So
like
who
that, or-
wrote it is this chick. I believe she's originally from Jamaica. I could be
I think that's
like
sounds
kind
right.
of fuzzy on the details, but like she's been around, but like it's a lot of woke stuff, dude.
Yeah.
It's so woke, and it's so try hard to insert the
It's
woke
painful.
into what was already like a very gothic European.
And then they made it
thing.
like it's all about race. It's funny
Yeah,
because they race
is.
swap characters, and then it's like, well, let's talk about race, dude. No, I want to see like vampires. I want to see like Alucard show up, and like But no,
Yeah.
we got to make it like race, dude.
And it's not that you can't have characters of other races, but then you have to
Mhm.
explain how they got there, right?
Yeah.
Like in the previous series, the Warren Ellis one,
Right.
you had like these characters that were from Japan,
Mhm.
right? Or that were from Asia, and they traveled to Europe. It's the
Mhm.
same thing. It's just like you look at something like the Rings of Power. I don't know how many episodes of that you made it into. I mean, I'm
Dude,
three.
I
watched them all.
I
But
only watched one.
they try
I
to
was like,
shoot
You can
I'm
have
out.
you can have like I'm not saying you can't have maybe you could have like a black elf or a black dwarf, but then you have to explain how
Dude,
they
but
got
they
there.
had so many like black vampires. It's not even funny. Like there's
Yeah.
a whole horde
There's-
of them, not just one, like a ton. And it's like this is so like weird. And I know the previous seasons they'd kind of done a little bit of race swapping, but this is like so atrocious that it's like just wild.
The only black vampire I acknowledge is Blade and the guy from
Yes.
Venture Brothers who hunts other Blackulas.
Blade.
Blackula,
Yeah.
man.
I love Blackula.
He hunts down
Blacula's the shit.
Blackulas.
William Marshall.
Yeah.
He
Doesn't
is,
Eddie
man.
Eddie Murphy
rules.
plays a vampire in some movie? I forget.
Yes.
Yes,
Like,
that's
Dead
basically a
and Loving It?
Blackula remake, is what that is. Yeah,
Yeah.
Vampire in Brooklyn, Wes Craven.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, nice. Actually,
That was
I
good
want to
stuff.
see that now.
See,
Like,
there's nothing.
You should.
There's nothing even
It's
wrong with
good.
doing a story about race, but you took Castlevania and made it all
I
about race.
know.
That's not Castlevania anymore, is it? Like
It's
that's not what
not.
people show up for. We love our gothic adventure, vampire slash and tail, and
But that's what
you
they're
can-
all about. They're all
Right.
about invading our shit, right? It's
Yeah,
all about like,
terraforming.
hey, nice hobby you have there. We'll take it.
Yeah.
mhm.
So where are we on this list? We've been bouncing all around.
I know I jumped
here.
ahead. Sorry about that.
No, you're all good. Why a protagonist of any gender identity or orientation who can be comped to Miles Morales?
Miles Morales.
Dude, look at
What?
Out and Watch, dude.
Gender orientation. Isn't Miles Morales straight?
Yes.
Gender identity or orientation who could be comped to. So basically, they're saying, "Could you give me gay Miles Morales?" Is that what they're saying?
Yeah.
I-
They
to
want
me,
a copy of a copy of a copy. Come
to
on.
me,
God.
if you kind of
Yeah.
feel like they're saying that black is a gender.
Yeah, apparently they think so because they're so low IQ they can't
Yeah.
even like figure this stuff out.
Yeah.
And then do you notice they
Look at the
mention
Buffy.
like Demon Slayer up there
Yep.
and like
Yeah.
Sailor Moon on the sapphic like power couples? Like what the heck, dude?
Yeah. They like do
Whatever
all
they
these
like.
things that hit the propaganda stuff that I like, but also
But
make
see,
it like,
like
a classic.
Sailor Moon, okay, like those two Sailor Scouts, like they did that more organically than most people. Like it's very subtle, and
Mhm.
most of these SJWs can't do anything normal and subtle, and they just
Yeah.
like overdo it.
They're too excited to virtue signal how good they are
Yeah.
to their cult members.
Yeah, it's that their goal isn't even to tell a good story. Their goal is to do the propaganda. So they get excited
Yeah.
about that. Yeah.
Crazy. I love this. And this is almost like someone's wrote it as a joke, though. It's got the Buffy in there. It's got Sailor Moon. It's got Demon Slayer. It's
got
so
Korra.
Korra, of course. Korra kind of set a new tempo when they did the suddenly lesbians, man. Last minute lesbians.
They did that
they
too in
changed
like
everything.
Adventure Time. Like a lot
and
of
Voltron.
like animated.
Voltron.
Yeah, I was about to say a lot of animated like just projects are doing that. It's like, ooh, last minute, okay, final episode of the season, boom, 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 boom.
Gotcha. It's kind of a,
Yeah.
it's like a sketch.
We tricked you. And
I
they,
didn't-
Yeah.
I'm sure they do it on purpose though, because they're like, oh, you like Voltron, don't you?
Well, you
get
like,
Yeah.
you like the cool
surprise
character
game.
with the scar, and you think he's gruff and tough.
Surprise
You like
game.
him. You like him.
Yeah,
he likes
yeah.
balls.
You-
He likes dick.
You know what show did that really bad? It's called Our Flag Means Death. Have you guys heard or
Yes,
seen that one?
dude, I saw
No, no.
It's the people who do
that on HBO.
What We Do in the Shadows. So it's so
Mhm.
great, you know. And that show is so funny.
It's
the
like
first season of
Pirates.
Our Flag Means Death. Yeah, it's so like charming and funny. At the end, the two best characters who have a lovely friendship. The whole thing is about
they're gay.
friendship. They're gay for each other. Like,
Dudes can't even be friends anymore. They're like, you're gay.
yeah.
Yeah, they don't even acknowledge male friendship. It's like,
I
oh
know,
yeah, those
like,
guys are friendly
like,
to each
dude,
other.
you can't
They must
just
be gay.
hug your brother in arms like that's gay. Like, dude, no, it's not. Come on.
I mean, are they sailors?
like, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, they're gay. They're gay as hell. I'm just kidding. I'm just.
Yeah.
But it
Yeah.
sounds like it's about pirates. Is it piratey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that one meme? They're
Okay,
like,
sounds awesome.
there was
Sounds
some
fun.
meme. It says like, guys can cuddle and make out, and it's not gay anymore, or something like that. And it's like,
Dude,
yes, it is.
like, okay,
Set
so
a
there's this
typed
guy.
of heavy chick at her
There's
office.
this
filled with
guy on
yaoi
social
comics.
media, and he's like dubbed like the warrior tech guy. And basically his thought process is like, Sparta, like it's not gay if you like touch tips with a dude. It's just, he's like, you could still be straight. He's like, I could put in butt plugs. I'm still straight. It's warrior tech, guys. It's to hype the troops. It's to get you and your male friends like hyped, and it deepens your like relationship. I was like, dude, that's
It's the gayest thing.
yeah, it's gay.
but like he's so like into
so
it, like
funny.
he believes it. He's in denial.
yeah, that's funny.
You gotta watch it. It's so bad. Just look up warrior
You're,
tech.
you're basically saying this is what the Spartans did, so it's cool that I'm
Yeah,
doing
he's
my
like,
buddy.
yeah, it's completely
Alright.
cool. Like
Alright.
that's the
King
framework.
Leonidas knew.
Okay.
Yeah,
This is
The
Sparta.
morale
All right.
is up.
yeah.
God. Why are we? Ugh.
What's
Good
it called?
night,
Warrior
Paradise
tech.
Lost 2.
Warrior.
There- there's-
just
I don't
look
know
up
if I wanna see
warrior.
it.
warrior
There's no
tech.
touching tips in the good night. So back the good night.
All right, there we
Now,
go.
dude. So it's funny because I think was it today or yesterday? I don't remember because like I have auto posts scheduled on Twitter. I think it was like today, but I made a post and I was showing like this crazy like debauchery filled like double
Oh.
page spread
Yeah, I saw that.
from the issue. Okay, and like today there's the most hilarious comment, which would be like such a great quote for the book. This guy is like, this isn't geekdom, this is demonic pornography, and this is
Perversion, I think you said.
this is pervert fringe. I was like, dude, that's the best.
That's the quote right there.
People were saying that in the chat.
Take
Yeah, they
it
were
to
saying pervert
print.
fringe. I didn't know that's
Like,
what it's
take
from.
it to print, guys.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
it.
That's
That's
a
the
good.
quote.
Yeah.
I saw that. I saw that.
Oh,
I didn't know how to react to it. It's like, do I
It's
like this?
Yeah.
It was so great, and it's so funny because, like, in context, like, it's nymphs, and there's other, creatures and stuff, and they're like, chasing women. There's a bonfire,
Tears.
all this other stuff, yeah. And like, this guy just like took offense, and he's going back and forth for a second, and then you always like you look in these people's profile, and it's like very typical. And I don't know the guy personally, but like he has these like biblical quotes in his bio. I'm like, dude, did you miss like the book of Revelation? Because like I didn't, dude.
Yeah.
Crazy
Like
shit.
Yeah, that's
Samson
funny.
and Delilah. Like, are you reading,
It's-
bro? Like,
The Songs of Solomon.
Yeah,
It's like
there's-
erotic love poetry in the
are
Bible.
you like? Were you listening and paying attention?
Yeah,
Like
the
demons
square
going into pigs, like you miss that, dude.
Yeah,
You
the
miss
the
that.
kind
they
of
even people like
the
that, do they even
sense.
read the whole Bible?
Dude, I
Yeah, that's like
honestly I don't know. Like I have, but I don't know like if
I don't think they do.
I don't know,
it's
man.
kind of dated. It's like
Revelations
that's like
sounds
90s or
sounds like
80s is like
it sounds like
the right wing Christian censorious kind of people, or whatever.
Yeah, like Christian fundamentalists, like from the 80s.
Mhm.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Like that's where all the censorship was coming from back then, and now it's all
Right.
coming from the left.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
people get down in the Bible, dude. Like it's wild. Like
Yeah.
people are turning to salt. Like they're,
The Old
all of
Testament,
the
man?
Babylon
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. I was talking to my buddy and
good.
I was like, they
It's a good
say, because I've been
Yeah.
getting into some of it, and I was like, they call it the greatest story ever told. And I was like, and I never quite got that because I'm like, Jesus, honestly, that story isn't that great. He gets like put on a cross, blah blah blah. I'm like, but then all the other stuff around it is so badass. And he's like, yeah, dude, Jesus is like the least badass part of the Bible. I'm like,
And like you have
There's-
Cain and Abel. Like you have like just everything surrounding like the Garden of Eden. Like you have this like archangel like with a flaming sword. Like
It's
dude,
metal as
that's
fuck.
so hard.
It's metal
Yeah.
as fuck. That's why it's so
can't go
funny that so
harder
much
than
like
that.
Christian metal is whack, because it's just like you look at the Old
Now
Testament.
Red
you're
is
just like,
Red is a good band. They're like a Christian metal band. Like
There's a
check it out if
couple.
you haven't. They are pretty good.
Paradise Lost is a really good one, although
Oh, yeah.
they're not classified as Christian metal.
Mhm.
You know, I'm talking about like the ones that like identify
Yeah.
as Christian. But
So Good Night though is still available. It's been on multiple platforms, but a great one to get it on is Fund My Comic. Crystal,
Yeah.
when is it fulfilling? Like soonish or still?
It'll
some
be
time?
the end of November. So we're
Okay.
working on pre-press currently. And I got the CGC graded copies of issue 1 back. They look awesome, all 9s. So basically, whoever backed first on the VIP, you'll get like the highest grade. So like 9.8, stuff like that. And then on the way down to just a 9.0.
Yeah.
But super excited. A lot of awesome fight sequences. We have like aerial battles here with dragons and like half
And pervert fringe.
Exactly.
Pervert Fringe. That's like
Dude,
on the
like,
list
That's
for
all
the
I'm.
agent.
That's
wants.
all I'm buying it
She's
for.
like, these are my favorite BIPOC tropes. Pervert Fringe.
pervert fringe.
look, I gotta tell you,
And
the
I also
inside,
like dark pervert fringe. Sorry.
Yeah.
the inside. I would say the inside of Crystal's head is really what you get to see in the Good Night, and the inside of Crystal's head is a very interesting place.
100%. Like this story has been like turning around in my head for so long.
It shows.
Cool.
I forget
And
like
this-
the dark pervert fringe. I prefer dark esports. Thank you very much.
Yeah. The
And
esports.
what's super cool is that
Dark
the art
esports.
is done traditionally on canvas. It's mixed media. So
Mm-hmm.
he'll put basically anything on a canvas. Like he's put fabric on there, sand to get a texture, like basically anything and everything
Cool.
to get the look of the book. And it's just crazy what Francisco does.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
Francisco.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
gotten better. He's gotten even
I
better.
know.
Yeah,
It's,
Yeah, as it's just getting so awesome.
He's
Yeah.
like taking it to an 11 with this because
Yeah,
it's
man.
crazy.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the first one, and I can't wait
like-
for this.
I like all
Aw,
those
thanks.
pervert fringe arms she has.
I
to
know.
use.
Yeah.
Dude, like I'm not gonna say anything, but they might get put to use in this book, or the next. You never know. So like,
Fringy.
back to the book.
Pervert Fringe.
You can also check out our website, mysticalcomics.com, because we also have these cool like Queen Belladonna like collectible coins on there, and a lot of other cool stuff too. So if you missed the first issue, check it out on Mystical Comics. You can get caught up.
Cool. Nice. Sounds good. And then Brian, I looked up your link. It looks like it's closed. Do you have an open campaign
yeah.
right now?
Well, I closed the Indiegogo campaign because, well, fucking Indiegogo, right?
Yeah.
Now,
Did you get shadow banned?
and they ask you too when you close your campaign, why did you do this? I'm like, because you're shadow banning my friends,
Yeah.
assholes.
Yeah.
And you're adding
Right?
on mandatory tips almost. Like, hey, just tip the creator. No, it's tipping us.
Yeah, I know. That's so shifty. That's not to say I don't still back books on Indiegogo, and I'm not telling people not to, right? But I did close this campaign, and I am going to be relaunching it in, I don't know, it could be very, very soon. Got a bunch of art, a bunch of pages in from my boy Preston Acevedo. And once those are colored, and he's doing a cover that's going to be on canvas, acrylics on canvas, which should be amazing. And I'm going to be relaunching on funmycomic.com very soon.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. So keep an eye out for that, everyone. Brian is the 6-gun gorilla guy. You're up to issues 9 and 10, so it's like epic.
Yeah,
tale going
that's going to
on,
be
so
the
it's
end
good.
of the first arc. Yeah, the end
Cool.
of and then hopefully, I'm going to have other books coming out soon, and then I'm not just going to be thought of as just the gorilla guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I could do 6-gun gorilla stories forever.
Right.
Yeah,
Man,
this is
how's
gonna
it
be
feel
nice.
finishing that big first arc like that?
Oh my God, it feels great. It feels great because also, it sucks because, I lost my artist he passed away. And Adrian Sibar, and, we did 7 issues together. And then my boy Preston Acevedo jumped in, did an incredible job on issue 8. And, I'd love to do a campaign for issue 9 and then issue 10. But you've got all these people then who are like, oh, well, I'll just wait until the next trade paperback. So it's like I can't just do separate campaigns for each issue. So, people aren't going to have to buy the story that they already have. Like, that's one thing I would never do is I would never double dip on people. So people are going to be able to get, if they've got the floppies, they're going to be able to get the floppies. If they just got the first trade paperback, they're going to be able to get the second trade paperback. And what can I say? Preston is, he's leveled up too.
Yes.
And the pages I'm getting are sick.
Nice.
And,
Yeah,
I have
Preston,
a
Preston is
question,
also
Brian.
doing the interiors for Dr. Alpha, Dead Man's Lullaby.
Yeah, Lit Dev's working
Oh
with him
my
too.
God.
So that's
Oh,
cool. It's a
cool.
good overlap.
Actually, he's doing my variant cover for Kataru Witch Hunter as
Yeah.
well as I just finished the plot outline for an 8-page Kataru bonus story that he's going to be drawing and doing ink washes on, which is
oh, hell yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
so-
he's amazing, man.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
really
I was
excited.
going to ask Brian,
Yes.
if people have missed your other campaigns, where can they go to kind of get caught up? Because I think I'm behind on a few of yours.
Oh, you're going to be able to catch up with everything.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Because there's no reason why you would release,
I mean, like, do you have like a
issue without being able to
website
get
where
else.
everything's collected, or another campaign where everything's kind of collected to get caught up?
I think
Everything's
it's
gonna
the
be
new
collected.
Kickstarter is going to have everything, but it's not
okay.
out yet, but it will be soon, right, Brian?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I did a
Cool.
Kickstarter campaign too because why not? Right.
Mhm. Or Fund My Comics, sorry, yeah.
Yeah. And then because
Sweet.
every platform has its own audience,
Mhm.
right? It's like Facebook people tend to be Kickstarter people, Twitter people tend to be Indiegogo people, so on and so forth. And fundmycomic.com, this is something that we really need to get behind, that we really need to throw our full support behind.
Yeah.
And it's only a question of when to launch. I mean, I know you're not supposed to launch a campaign in November or December, so I might wait until 2024. We'll see. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I'm
You know-
ready to go.
Yesterday I did a stream and I opened up Fund My Comic, Indiegogo, Zoop, and Kickstarter, and I browsed. And the best browsing was Fund My Comic. They had the most books too, and the kind of most fun books. Actually, Kickstarter was a little bit weak. Indiegogo was a little bit weak because they freaking shadow ban everything, so you can't even see much at all. And then Zoop had some good stuff, but some of it kind of looks like it might be SJW-ish or whatever, and then so you kind of
Hey,
paranoid.
I had a campaign on there, and I got gay opt out the ass, and it wasn't from the left. See what
Oh
I'm saying?
yeah.
That didn't
Yeah.
come. It didn't come from them. It came. That came from. That came from our side.
Yeah, that's
And
frustrating. Some of that's been
yeah, no, it was
happening.
terrible. And like people are even asking me, like, are you going to ever do like a omnibus edition? And I'm like, never, never, ever, 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 because that campaign, the Zoop campaign, was for the omnibus edition. And CG told me, no, 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 no. So no, I will
Yeah.
never do a omnibus edition. People are either going to have to get the floppies or the trade paperbacks.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame that somebody did that, man. I'm sorry.
Well, it was a bunch of people, and
I remember promoting that for a second, and then
it happens, It happens. Like we were saying, our side has Gay Ops and Whisper Networks and all the same shit that the mainstream has. So
I know we got to be better than them, which at our best we are. So we can
Hashtag
keep
be
doing
better.
that. Yeah, be better. Dr.
This is
Alpha.
gonna be great. I love the first one.
Yeah. Lit Dev is
Glad you
one of the best writers in CG as well. So
Sure is.
we want to pitch it, Lit Dev. How's it going?
Appreciate it. Oh yeah, the first one actually came from an interesting story. So I actually was powered by my dad's death like 10 years ago. So if you read the first Dr. Alpha, there's a lot of father and son stuff going on there. All the trauma and tragedy of my dad's death went into the first Dr. Alpha. So that's what fueled the first one. So I think people feeling the energy of that in there. This one was more fun because I learned more about comics in this one. So the first one is a little more like stuff is happening, drama, not as much action. This one is. I was watching Crank one day, the movie Crank with Jason Statham. And I was like, I want to do that. This one's way more action packed. I mean, by the time we get to page 48, it feels like you read like 3 comics already. So we have like action. I got a lot of jokes in there. Just organic joke. I've been going over the dialogue with Eric Weathers, and so it's been pretty fun so far. The original cover was colored by Gabe Altaib, but then President Salvado kind of redesigned some of the characters as the story went along, and so I wanted the cover to reflect the characters, the interior more. So I had my cover artist change it. It was Anthony Figueroa, and so I went like, okay, we need to recolor it. So I went, but Gable T vanished, so I had to recolor. I had to use the colorist. So that's why there's like 2 different versions of the cover. But yeah, so there's like the needle being poked into his neck and he injecting. In this version, it's a virus called a lullaby virus, and as it expands, it slowly starts to close off your ability to generate adrenaline. So it's like an assassination kind of virus. So it's like you go to sleep essentially. You kind of one day the target goes to sleep and never wakes up. Yeah, ticking clock. So he kind of states that he can be kept alive the same way he's kept alive in Crank, where it's like he can be in battle, he has to fight, and then or look at boobs, one of those. Right?
Yeah.
And so
speaking of perverted comics, Doc Alpha spends a lot of this of this news story butt naked.
Yeah, the first part.
Pervert Fringe.
Yeah, Pervert Fringe. And Dark Esports.
Eastern Promises vibes.
Dark
dude.
Esports.
Yeah, Eastern Promises. Nice.
Look at that nut kick.
Yeah, well, actually, in the comic, I have how they in the Adam West Batman they go pow crank and all that. When he gets kicked in the balls, it says balls.
Nice. This headbutt is awesome.
No
too.
mistaking.
Oh, Preston, man.
Yeah,
I'm
this
telling
is
you,
sweet.
he's a rock star.
He went way over the top. Like for example, he went. So in the script, I said, okay, so 3 minions walk in: Punch Glove minion, Brass Knuckle minion, and Hammer minion. He's the one that made them all like incredibly different looking.
So, cool.
Okay. He just came up with their own little like personifications
designs.
and designs.
I love
yeah.
when you're the writer
great.
and your artist just like adds that extra touch.
Goes so over the top with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And that's what you get with Preston every time. Every time.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He's got like a leprechaun you owe money to. He's got the failed boxer but he's got like the weights on his wrist, so like if he takes those off, he's getting serious. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
He's got, and then you've got your muscle guy with no mouth, who's kind of like Rex Mundy, zombie, kind of stoic, quiet, badass, which is creepy and cool. And busted
that
through
scene?
the door.
That scene right there is so after the Crank beginning where he's like, oh, I got the needle stuck in my neck and the virus is tearing me apart. I just put together a bunch of my favorite action scenes and kind of like I got inspired by those. So when he leaves his hotel room, it's this the old boy hallway fight where he has the hammer. That's why I made a hammer minion, so you can defeat the minion, take his hammer, and then go to the old boy hammer. There it is. See, there. Killing Tug. I had in the script. He's hitting the minion so hard in the bottom of the chin that his teeth fight at the top of his head. I just like the cartoonish violence.
Nice.
Tongue flapping.
Yeah. There's
Look at his nose.
That is
Nose
great.
is
Oh,
right in
Preston,
midair, dude.
I'm in the background too. Preston added me in the background there as a bad guy.
Oh, sweet.
It's in the first one. Like I said, there I am in the background between the clown
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
Tucker.
Dev's back. He's commenting.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
And there's
Oh, I
Tug in
see
there.
time now.
Freddy Krueger glove.
Yeah, so he
Jigsaw.
designed all those guys. To me, I was like, okay, I was just imagining they all look the same because faceless minions that he's a fight. So, but Preston Acevedo went the extra mile and made them each unique looking, which is pretty
They're all
awesome.
horror movie icons.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect.
It's awesome. My favorite is the panel where Jason takes the hammer into the forehead. Down low.
Is that one? Oh yeah, right.
That.
Yeah,
that
yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
And then
That's
have you ever seen
brutal.
Raid 2?
It's like Mike Barron
Yes,
wanted
I love
Preston.
the raid.
Yeah.
It's like Mike Barron wanted Preston to do a Florida Man, and he wants to, he absolutely wants to work with Mike. But I was just like, Mike, you got to understand, it's like he doesn't want to be drawn like real people in Florida. He wants to be drawn like orcs getting their heads split with like
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what
eyelashes and
Preston is
shit.
really good at that. Where he's like making these giant monster-looking dudes.
Yeah.
He's really good
Yeah.
at horror
And
stuff.
when you know the artist that you're working with, you want to give
So
them
good.
stuff to draw that you know that they're going to love drawing.
Man.
Yeah.
By the way, the reason why he goes to the kitchen, it's not just because he's fighting a woman in there. It's because like the Raid 2, there's a kitchen fight where the main character fights a guy with karambits. So I wanted to do that too. So he fights Clona's girlfriend, who's like ex-Special Forces, ex-CIA. So she has karambits, and she uses those in the fight. I was like, I want to do the Raid 2 fight. I was like, what the heck? I just put all my favorite fight scenes in here. And string them.
Yeah.
That was the kind that when I read the story, it's always like, what's a challenge I want to do? And this is like, okay, how do I string all my favorite fight scenes together? And that was the challenge of this one.
That's fun.
Yeah.
It's a fun challenge.
Cool.
It's a good way to write. Even if you're not being 100 serious, that you're going to put out the book, you just give yourself a challenge. Like, can I get all this together and make it work?
Make it make sense. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And the girl that he fights, I thought was pretty funny because I made her like I modeled her after her personality after Marla Singer a little bit from Spy Club, where she says like these outrageous things, like a Dr. Alpha would throw a wine bottle at her, and she goes, "Ha! I've been dodging bottles since I was 6." And
Nice.
and then she gets hit in the face, and she's like, "Ha! Is that all you got? I've been hit harder by my hippy dippy latte sipping stepdad."
Yeah. And then aren't these girls like Power Ranger SJWs?
Yeah, I modeled the main one. I modeled after Riri Williams, and then I gave her 2 friends. And then not only did I make them like Iron Man kind of battlesuit esque, I made them fake geek girls. So one of them is like a unicorn, like with wings and everything. That's like one of them is a wizard aesthetic to her Iron Man suit.
Nice.
And I even have a panel in there with an homage to the classic Marvel eating at a diner scene, where they're kind of just eating pizza together, and they're talking about the Riri Williams stand-in name. Her name is Black Spark, and she's like, "Really, Black Spark?" And the girl goes, "Well, I'm black, so I have to have black in my name. It's right."
Yeah. It was one of the Marvel guys literally said that about some thing. He's like, it seems insensitive that they named a character Black something and he's not black. We're like,
He's
what
not
the
black, like Black Canary.
That's
or something.
great.
I thought that was even a thing. That was a joke in Kill Bill, where she's like, "I should have been motherfucking Black Mamba." She's
Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually funny when that
was
was
great.
first said on the screen. That was awesome. When I was doing Black Terror, I was like, even if I wanted to do him as black, someone's already done a Black Terror where he like beats up the Klan. So, and that it was like some SJW creator too. So I was just like, yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah.
Stick with the original Terror.
Yep. Cool. And then I get that kind of gets us to Terror. So the main event of the evening is pumping up
The
Terror, the
puppies.
closeout. Yeah, 36 people watching.
I
Yeah,
feel for them.
the puppies are on the line here. I am gonna do it. I'm gonna kill a puppy if it.
Oh my
Dude,
If it-
this is Saw right
The
now.
puppies are dying.
can hear them.
Yeah, the
Oh,
chat
I feel
knows.
for them. I feel
Catch
for
it
those
on
little-
Malin. The guilt is slowly building, and
Good
they
thing
will.
they have litters,
They
huh?
will. Yeah, yeah. Only 2 puppies have died so far, and we've saved 1, so we're doing pretty good. So,
I'm
but
fine.
yeah, Terror in the Trenches. Want to give a final little pitch for it, Vaughn, and then we'll. get out of here.
Everybody, I took a character no one gave a damn about, and I was like, why is he not cool? Let's tell his real story. Let's make him cool. Let's make him the coolest thing ever. Black Terror is the story of a superhero from World War II who is freaking everyone out with this terror gas that made him strong, durable, and make you see him as what you fear most before he beheads you. And he's trying to be a regular white coat wearing pharmacist in his New York City neighborhood when creepy Nazis from his past come back and blow everything to hell. And it starts from there. It's going to be a trilogy. So far, the reviews are amazing. Amazing art from Monica McCagney and colors by Tiago Barça. Letters by the man himself, Eric Weathers. It's a great team. I'm really proud of what we've made. People seem to be enjoying it. I'm happy with that. And it only gets crazier and more over the top in book 2, which we're already like 25 pages colored in book 2
nice.
now. So, I mean, it's coming sooner than later, guys. And I've already shipped out everything. So if you order a book now, it gets shipped sooner than later, too. You get it quick.
Cool.
Yeah, and there's other cool things to get on this campaign. There's posters, there's print set that's badass, there's a Terragas vial limited edition. There's all kinds of stuff. So check it out. The T-shirt. I want to like show you, but I don't know if my camera will move. And
you
not
have
show.
like a website as well too, Vaughn.
We have Rise Again Comics. Yes, correct.
Yeah.
It's
Check his
gonna-
stuff out there, guys.
you guys are gonna dig it. You're gonna dig. What else can I say? It's been a hell of a campaign. I'm cool whether or not we make it to 100K. I'm proud. I'm happy. This is a great work of art. This makes people happy. They're ready for book 2. A lot of people are telling me. The art from book 2 looks stunning. Like it's next level, man. Monica's taking a little break right now, and then we're gonna get back. And then Tiago's finishing up coloring the first 25 pages, and then we'll get back to it. So yeah, you guys, it's a story about the damage you do coming back to haunt you, and I explore fear a lot. And I never really thought about fear the way I did until I made this book. I mean, fear is very interesting. Fear makes you get your ass up and get things done with your day, and fear can also like paralyze you and make you feel like you can't move. It's a very interesting thing. So yeah, this book explores all of that and has a great roster of supervillains that Narwhal's bringing up here. You've got Lockshot. You've got Detonetta.
Fan favorite right here. Choo, choo, pew, pew.
She's got that little sniper rifle from her mom, who was a Russian sniper in the war, and then she came around later, and now she's taken over. And yeah, it's awesome. It's good art. It's good fun. I hope you guys will check it out. Tell your friends. We're going to be closing very, very soon, so I can launch Kataru Witch Hunter, which is also doing signups on Indiegogo right now. And Narwhal, thanks so much, man, for this. This was awesome, and hanging out with all of you guys. It is so
Yeah.
cool. Like I haven't even gotten to talk to like you guys in a while, Crystal and Brian. You guys are awesome. I haven't gotten to talk to you. It's been
Much
great.
love to you, too.
And Lit Dev, as always, it's awesome to talk to you. Miss you guys. And so thanks for hanging with me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was all
fun.
impromptu. Thanks everyone for popping
No, this
in.
is
'cause,
great.
Yeah, even kind of like day of almost, I texted Vaughn. I was like, "You want to go live?" And he's like, "Yeah." So let's go.
I love everybody here.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Good times.
And that's the thing, because in comics now they're missing that, where people are excited about what they're working on. They're, connecting with people, and instead they're just on Twitter like, don't buy my book. You're
Yeah.
terrible.
I know.
It's
person."
just like anti-advertising. Like, don't buy my book.
Yeah.
Where's the joy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's it's weird to think about, but in terms of human history, the internet only just happened. If you think about,
true.
and so we're kind of adapting to a world where we interact with the fans differently now.
I call it the Narwhal
Yeah.
nudge if you get backers on my channel, which is gay anyway. But then I started just calling it the nudge, and then it was like a wrestling move. Get ready for the nudge.
Nudge coming at you. Awesome. Well, thank you for a little nudge. Few puppies died. Hopefully not too many tonight.
Yeah, the chat knows. They knows. The guilt will follow them, and they'll back tonight before it closes. They're gonna catch you on Malin, so we're just building it up.
Nice.
I
41
actually,
people watching
I
them.
might be holding off on late night with Malin tonight, and we're talking about Sunday now, so we're still
Okay.
Sunday.
Exactly. And he
So
told me
maybe
that would be a
a
good
few more
night for
days.
him. So we might do a few more days, and then we're out. We're out like trout.
Cool. Yeah, so everyone keep your eye out. Let people know on Twitter this one's closing real soon, and it has this shot of hitting 100K, which is just such a beautiful thing. Monster MD did do it, so this is one's so close, but this number is beautiful in its own right. 92.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Congrats, Vaughn. You're killing it, man. You're living the dream.
Thanks, Brian. You're awesome. Such a good writer too, man. I appreciate that. I work really hard. This is what I do. This is what I love, and I love getting to hang and work with you guys on stuff and support your books and check your stuff out. And I just appreciate all of it, the support everyone's been
Chris.
giving me. This taking a Golden Age character and making this much is pretty amazing. It's not typical. It's an uphill battle to do this with a character like this. So yeah, this is already amazing. So I'm proud.
Yeah. Yeah, and as soon as I get ready to sign off, we're getting the most viewers. Now it's up to 44. But yeah, so if you're here, if you just got here, back tear in the trenches, everyone. And with that, I'm gonna click the button and we'll end it. You guys stick around just for a second. Let's say hi behind the scenes too. But yeah.